go. Hey everybody, this is episode... Fuck, I had it written down and I forgot already. This is some episode,
Nice.
I think it's 8. Episode 8 of the Skullgirls Oceanic Ranbats. And aside from age, all the...
Podcast.
What?
You said Rambats.
Yeah, you said Rambats.
I shouldn't have interrupted.
Podcast, thank you.
Podcast.
Podcast, thank you very much yet again. When an EV plays. Let me just start this real quick because otherwise I'm doing 3 things with my brain. Let me just go back a bit. That should be good enough. Alright. So, this is episode 8 of the Skullgirls Oceanic podcast. And today is a bit of a weird one. I guess a unique one, more like. Because also the game is really loud. I gotta turn this way, the hell down. Because... Let me just... Because we're not doing a player podcast anymore, because we're done with that shit, for the most part. The only person that's left is Age, and yeah.
Nice.
So we're just doing character or like game topics instead. I'm just gonna turn the game down or like turn the game off. Game sound off. All right. So basically, cause now we're discussing more so like topics about the game and how to improve and a lot of general stuff that's really cool. So today we're gonna discuss dun 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 reads and adaptation. It's a very deep topic and we expect to have a lot of conversation about it with our multitude of guests, which is Age. Say hi, dude.
Hi, dude.
Cool. Toonie Mage, aka Clarence Mage, aka CM, aka. Do you have any other dumb names?
Nah, no other dumb names.
Alright. We have Crazy Diamond, aka Risky BS, aka Risky, aka the guy who lost the money match and broke the glass. That was pretty funny.
Hi, that's me.
And we have Jedi, the guy who thinks he's good. Kappa.
I think I'm alright.
The guy who actually broke the glass.
We what?
I didn't fucking break it.
You guys should have seen how fast Jedi was to dob me in when the waiter got there. He like appeared and Jedi just pointed at me. It was him!
Yeah, he's that type of
Whoa,
guy.
he did it!
That's exactly.
Like trying to say that I should like take the fourth year.
Well, because you dobbed him in so fast, I felt that I had to bury you and put all the blame on you.
But yeah.
That's not topic.
See, this is the category of social reads, where you need to be aware of what signal you're putting out into the general player base and what actions will incur reactions. So if you immediately dob your your conversation partner in for something bad they did, it's like, this guy doesn't give a fuck about him, he just doesn't want to look bad. Instead of like, oh mate, I'm sorry.
This is why I lost the money.
Right.
It's all clear.
It's all clear.
Anyway, this is irrelevant. Let's like get into it. So like,
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, usually when we have the podcast, we kind of discuss like, hey, you're the player, what's your blah blah blah. And since we can't really discuss that in the same manner, I guess we can just go straight into it. Like, what do you think about reads? I don't know.
Okay, I think we should like, for those who are listening, they're gonna be thinking, how can I start reading my opponent? How can I stop getting my mind read for the entire step? And I think we should talk about maybe, if my bird gets too loud, by the way, let me know and I will escort her from the premises. We should talk about like how reads happen, how like certain mindsets in game form, how you can like condition your opponent to think the way you want them to think, etc. How to recognize patterns, I think, is very important.
Yeah.
But
I feel like that's a very layered discussion, and it's kind of hard to talk about everything at once.
Yeah. Well,
so
we'll
I
start
guess
with the basics.
yeah. Like if you were gonna start with the basics, where would everybody start? I guess.
I think the most basic way to read someone is find out something that they're missing from their game knowledge and then just abuse that. Like, that's a really simple way to look at it. But if someone doesn't know that mashing buttons kills them when you burst bait them, they're instantly dead.
It's true. I think a really important part of conditioning someone is that a lot of players may tend to assume that a situation is 50-50 or something like that, when really there are like way more options that could happen.
Yeah.
But they haven't like thought about that. And if you, like H said, if you identify a situation where my bird, I might just move her.
Yeah, move the bird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can carry on while
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
will
was doing that on that same topic. So it's like if you identify a situation where your opponent like only sees like 2 options, but there actually is 5, then like you're just gonna shit on him.
You have like a way better like what do you call it? Set of options to work with.
Yeah, you have a way better option spread. And I actually think that that's not necessarily a matter of like that's more like figuring out what the options are.
Yeah.
And figuring out what the options actually are helps with reading, but it doesn't help with reading per se.
I feel like it helps with building a baseline to which you can start building your opponent's mindset around.
Yeah.
Because like a big part of it is like recognizing options by just looking at the screen, which I think is kind of important, and a lot of people actually miss that. It's kind of funny because it's one of the most like obvious things you can ever say.
Yeah, just
But, like,
look at the game and what mechanics are about to happen.
Yeah, like if somebody like you have to kind of like think about what you are doing in relation to your opponent and how they respond. Is like the basic thing, right? Like if you show them, "Hey, I am dashing forward," and their response is, "I'm gonna hit a button," like in a very very basic, like what do you call it? In a very basic like RPS sort of thing, like the footsies of whiff punish, walk forward, and back up or whatever, the movement. Sorry.
Yeah, it's like that might actually be the most simple way to approach reads. Is that fundamentally reads are like the most read heavy game is rock paper scissors. Like that's fundamentally the game of we are going to make a double blind decision where neither of us knows for sure what's going to happen next, but we're going to have to like feel out the aether and like make the correct decision.
Yeah.
It's like, maybe this sounds stupid, but in a fighting game, you want your opponent not to have the free choice of rock, paper, or scissors. You want to make them think that they can't pick rock. So then they're really only choosing between paper or scissors, in which case you either win or, you draw, in which case that's fine. So I think when it comes to, like, conditioning, that's really important. You want people to...
Yeah.
You want to narrow people's options. It's like even though they could do all these things, they're not going to do them because they think they can't.
I think there's 2 sides to that, though, because on the one hand, you can make people think they don't have a certain option, and that helps your strategy of just playing around them using maybe 2 out of 3 options. But you can also make it so that they really want to use one specific option because they've seen you do something that gets punished by you, and that sort of is like positive conditioning instead.
Sure. Your Simpsons is a bit loud.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Also, I don't know what was going on over there, but you guys didn't do anything for like 5 minutes. That was kind of cool. That was a lot of operant conditioning. Kappa.
I see. Well, going off what Age said, like Risky said something along the lines of conditioning to like remove one option, and like if they hypothetically have 3 options, remove one of those options to make them only guess between like 2 and 3. But Age is more like make them really want to do this specific option.
Yeah, like in the Skullgirls context, it would be like if you show somebody some mix-up like 50 times, and like do enough mix-ups to where they feel like if you keep doing a high-low and you just mix up the high-low well enough, you're like, I should just mash here, and then you make them feel like that the mashing is the only option, and then you destroy them off that.
Yeah.
Like
So
stuff
then
like
you
that
get-
is pretty useful.
Yeah, it is. But then you have to like read, are they the type of player that actually will reversal, or are they the type of player that will stubbornly keep trying to like guess on the 50-50?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you always have to like make sure to profile your player to see what type of personality they have and like what type of game awareness they have, or what type of decisions they're gonna make.
Yeah, that's one thing, is that every piece of information from the start of the round is pertinent to your decision making, or should be. Like from the get-go, it should be I mean, you can sort of think, I know this guy, I know what he's like, But I think to be the most adaptive and to be the most successful, you need to be able to base your decisions on information that's just in the round since the start of the round. Because otherwise, you won't be able to fight players you haven't fought before with as like much strength as you might be able to fight your friend who like the back of your hand. And I think it's important to be able to like see the match as like a blank slate, and then from second one, see like, okay, so this is what's happening. Yeah. This is what this guy's likely to do from here on out.
Yeah. I've gotten like the feeling sometimes against players that I haven't played against before, where it's like, I've never played against them before, but like 5 seconds into the match, now I understand them as a player completely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because I've just seen the decision making. I've seen, and like just sort of like subconsciously inferred, like, okay, if they make these kind of decisions early on in the match, then they're likely to like mash DP when they get knocked down, or they're likely to blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And I think it's also important as a player to actively try not to fall into those types of patterns. You want to try and act randomly, even though it's not really possible for a human to be random. You want to reduce the patterns you have. It's like, let's say you get knocked down at the start of the round, and then you wake up, you DP, and they block it, right? It's like, you have a choice here. You think, okay, so they're going to like block my DP, right? So I won't DP when I wake up after that. But that's not random. And if they are thinking, they'll be like, I wrecked his DP the first time. Who's to say that he'll do it again? Surely he'll block it because I wrecked it.
Yeah.
Thinking in like patterns like that opens you up to being predictive. But it's hard to be random.
Yeah.
I think you want to try and throw like spanners in the works. You want to try to identify like thoughts, trains of thought your opponent might have, and then just do something totally crazy that like can't be worked out. And by crazy, I don't just mean like doing the DP because it's a crazy move. I mean like just something that they wouldn't have seen coming. Something that like even you didn't see coming. You just get like some crazy idea and you're like, bam, and they're like, what the fuck?
Like holding up forward. Cap.
I mean,
Age is typing in the chat.
Oh.
I see.
Sort of, I don't know, we might have moved on from the topic already because it's like, probably a better idea, and I don't know what he's referring to. There's player archetypes, maybe. Also, I don't know if looking at all info in a game is doable. I feel like I can only recognize patterns if I'm targeting a certain situation to look at.
Yeah, I mean, like...
Focus change thing Jay Rejo talked about. It occurs to me it's going to be difficult to do this as age typing unless we're all looking at it and can see when he's talking.
I can make it TTS, but TTS is a bit of an issue in of itself.
I'm sure we can just look at the chat. And then
you guys can look at it, because I have the game, like... game's, like,
TTS,
so big and covering Discord for me that I... Like, looking back at it, it's kind of annoying.
Yeah. So, alright, so there's... 2 things we can go. I want to cover what Crazy Diamond just said about doing something crazy that they don't expect, and then I want to move on to what Age said about only recognizing patterns when you're targeting certain situations.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. So, in regards to throwing a spanner in the works, it's like throwing a glitch in the matrix. It's like your opponent has this whole game plan, but then if you actually see like fissure in their game plan where they actually do not their game plan does not handle the thing you're about to throw at them, then they just like fuck. Even if it's like a hard read, even if it's like the riskiest thing ever, the fact that they have like 1, they're not expecting it. 2, it like ruins something in their game plan. 3, it lets you win the situation. It's like now they have to actually think about that. And if you have so many like sort of 380s like that on deck, then you can just sort of like throw glitches into well-constructed game plans, because there is no game plan that's well-constructed enough that it can survive all the glitches you can throw at it.
Yeah, as soon as you've done that, the other player is second-guessing themselves. They'll do something and they'll be like, wait, but what if they do this crazy thing again? And then, like, that's it. You're out of the loop. You are free.
You're like, your what do you call it? Your flowchart got messed up or whatever.
Yeah.
And like, I don't mean flowchart like a negative connotation either. Like, it's good to have flowcharts.
It's
Especially
another
in
word for
tournament.
strategy in some ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like totally
So
context dependent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The downside to like playing like the sort of glitch in the matrix style is that you often over rely on glitching someone's matrix, and it doesn't work if they don't have a matrix to glitch. So then you end up 380ing yourself and dying.
That sounds really funny. And do you have any examples of that? Because I think, given the context, it'd be a lot more funny.
It would be like,
Throw under
alright,
the bus.
huh?
Under the bus. It's like someone who doesn't have the matrix.
Also, I can see Age is typing, but I can't see what.
Yeah, he has.
Nah, fuck PTS. Okay, fair enough.
Well, an example would be like command grabbing someone 5 times on the wake up and going, all right, they're gonna jump this time, and so you anti-air command grab them, but they just stay on the ground and hit you.
Yeah.
And it's like, you didn't realize that they literally have no idea that they can jump command grabs.
Yeah.
So you just 380'd yourself.
That's why it's important to like piece together a player profile from the flow of the match. You can kind of like work out if you're attentive.
Yeah.
As an example, in last week's netplay tournament, I was fighting Fairy in Guilty Gear, and is my bird still?
Bird's a lot quieter, so far good. It's like
A lot
ambient
quieter?
noise in the
That's a big
background
deal.
now.
That's fine. Okay.
You probably should have.
She like imitates me talking, which is really annoying.
kinda cute, I
Anyway, so I was fighting Fairy, and I kept 380ing myself. I was like, oh, I'm like Potemkin. I've hammerfalled in. I've done hammerfall break right next to him. Now he's gonna jump because he's a good player in my mind.
Oh,
Yeah.
He's a good player.
He's gonna
So
avoid
he
the
will-
layer 1.
He'll jump away and avoid the obvious setup.
Yeah.
But then he didn't jump. He just pressed a button and hit me like he knew I was gonna do that. I think that's an example of where you're trying to get ahead of the game. You're trying to like
Yeah.
read them,
It's
but
like this.
they don't
there's
even
too much
care.
respect.
It was too much respect. And my idea that he's a good player set me up for that. I mean, of course he's a good player, but you can't think about shit like that because that's kind of like your own assumption. And
Yeah,
then
'cause-
he knows that I'm scared of him. He knows that I
Yeah.
respect him. So he just blows me up and he's like,
Yeah.
oh, you think I'm gonna jump away? No, but boom.
Yeah, it's like how good a player is actually doesn't have that much to do with what decisions they make, except for like really broad like game knowledge level things. Like what some players' play style is and how good they are at their play style is like 2 completely different fucking things. It's like some people are fucking Armada and some people are Mon. It's like
Yeah.
it's like
All
but
right.
they're both really good.
I
Like
think
I don't know where to go with that.
this is kind of I don't know, but I would say that it's less important how good a player is compared to you, and it's more relevant how good you think they are, and vice versa. That leads to decision making.
Yeah,
It's
like
you
I
can't
mean,
really you can't
Yeah.
really measure skill level objectively easily. That doesn't. You should remove that from the equation. But when you're playing, if you think, if your opponent thinks you're really good, they're obviously going to try and respect you more, and you can take
Yeah.
advantage of that, and vice versa.
yeah, I
If-
take
if-
advantage of that so fucking much in Skullgirls. It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that's why it's very important to sort of blank slate it from the start of the round and try to like not think about they're so good, and I'm a noob. And that also really sucks if you start winning. And if you think they're really good and you start winning, it's over because you'll just crack like an egg,
Or you'll like crack the other way, which is you start feeling yourself
oh yeah.
and then
yeah.
and then you get happy, but then you start making really horrible decisions because you make worse decisions when you're happy.
Yeah. Plus, they're predictable. There's a method to the madness. As soon as there's a method, any player who recognizes that pattern, like, this guy, he thinks he's won this. That's it. They're in your head, and you're gonna get red.
Yeah, like it's a lot more psychological. I feel like it is psychological, but at the same time, it also isn't in a really weird way. Like it all depends on like
What
like
is
if I give a
psychological
context of like
about
say Risky versus me, right? Like
Yeah.
from freaking 50 years ago, Risky like didn't understand what mix upside did. He didn't really understand the kind of neutral I played. and it was a lot easier to just run him over with just sheer speed and just forcing him in a lot of situations. But as he got better, he understood the game a lot more and like got a lot better at actually deciphering what I was showing him as I was playing. And like from that, he was able to create game plans that like beat mine in different ways. That so on and so forth. I don't know where I'm going with that.
Yeah. Well, I think I know where you're going with that because situation exposure.
Yeah.
You can't read a situation if you don't know what the situation is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes up so much like mental processing to be like, oh, what's happening? Oh, I just got hit. Why? Who knows?
Yeah. To begin the adaptation process, you need to actually understand what's happening in the first place.
Yeah.
It's like if you're too busy, if you're focusing your attention on what is happening to you and not like what's happening in the game as a whole, you can't really adapt because you can't like pay attention. There's no attention left. You're just thinking, I'm being hit. There's no room for okay, I'm gonna try this because you're just desperately trying not to get hit by these like new situations you've never thought of before.
Yeah.
And I think if there were new players listening to this who wanna try and like become mind readers or whatever, you do have to actually I wouldn't say you have to be a pro. Like, you don't have to get good to the nth degree to be able to
You just have to get
read
your ass beat
people.
enough to realize that what is happening to you.
Yeah, you have to understand, like, what's happening
have to-
without having to put too much attention to
Yeah,
the
like
fact.
you can't play rock, paper, scissors if you only know that rock and paper exist.
Yeah.
It's more like, I reckon it's more like you're throwing rock and they're throwing paper, but to you, it don't look like paper. It just looks like a garbled mess of just like a horrible amalgamation of all the signs, and you don't even know what's happening. You're just like, what? Why am I losing?
Oh, 8 said something a while ago, I guess, and he said that's like, are they reading my read or are they 2 steps behind? Like stuff like that. Yeah.
That's a hard decision to make, and that's
I
something
think-
you have
yeah.
to make with.
You have to
The
base
flow
that
of the
on their
game.
game knowledge. Like if
Yeah.
for the most part, like if let's say like if I was trying to make a read on somebody who I'd never played before, I'd like throw a couple of situations at them and be like, okay, do you know how to deal with this? How do you deal with this? How do you know how to deal with this? And what are the different ways you deal with this? And if they show any adaptation, that is, I think, like what I have classified as quote unquote a good play. Like if they're blocking my overhead standing and not just up backing, then I'd realize that they are lacking a lot of knowledge, and I can extrapolate from that and say,
Which is
okay, they
true.
probably don't know a lot about like the rest of the game, So I can use that as a quote unquote.
Yeah, it's weird, but you can use the way you play as like a means to gather information.
Yeah.
You can like
Yes.
give them setups just to see what they'll do. You can like intentionally stop your combo just to see if they're matching.
Yeah.
And then it's like, they might
Is
not
that
be
the
matching.
Gutex shimmy?
Ian, shut up.
Yes.
Yeah. Ah,
Can
this
shut
actually
up.
reminds me
Fuck
of.
you, Yama. I'm in this podcast too. This is
I
like
was
I'm not even
memeing. It's
talking.
alright. It's alright. I just Gutex Shimi is a funny meme. Anyhow.
What is this Yabu text streaming thing?
Something they talked about on Excellent Adventures one time is basically just like you stop your offense just to watch what they do.
Oh yeah, fair enough. That's a good option.
I don't know why it's called the Gutex shimmy. I guess something to Gutex.
I think it's
16.
like Gutex Balrog did that a lot when he played Balrog in Street Fighter 4. Like he'd
Yeah.
like do the just crush light punch ticks and just wait a little bit to see if they did anything dumb. I think that's where the origin comes from.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I
It
mean,
is
like,
right.
Saying that
shimmies
the
as well.
shimmy is like walking out of the room. That's kind of
Yeah,
what it became like in Street Fighter 5. I don't know if it was necessarily the same thing originally.
Wasn't that a thing in that track? I'm pretty sure it was a thing in that track. Oh yeah, it
Yeah, it
is
was
because Dime said that was a thing. That's really funny.
Yeah, it was a thing. Like it was a classic third strike.
Yeah.
Like so, there were 2 third strike shimmies. The first one is that you whiff your throw over them on wake up, and then you throw them anyway. Everyone knows that one. And the second one is when you're actually not shit at the game. You throw them on wake up, and then next time you walk outside of throw range, and then with Ken, you crouch and mean kick, show you them, and they die.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Or with Chun-Li, you do your billion confirms super or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, like stuff like that. Like I feel like if like making reads, quote unquote, like I feel like the most important step of that is recognizing how much they know, and then basing your reads off that. Like,
Yeah.
if I were to give it like any, can't really think of anything. Can't really think of a great example at the top of my head, but basically, like, you want to recognize what they understand about your character and what options they take because of that, and from that you can extrapolate whether they are good at the game or not. Like
Yeah,
especially
yeah.
in a 2 out of 3 stat, you have to extrapolate a lot of information. You can't sit down with another guy, talk to him for half an hour, and like play him in a first to 20 and be like, oh yeah, you're pretty good. Like, you have to be right there, like ready to adapt to what they're doing.
Yeah. This brings up like a division of like types of reads that I like to mention. There's decision reads, and there's also habit reads. And so when I was talking to Ferry one time, God bless Church of Ferry, I was like talking to him about reads, and he was like, I don't make reads. All I do is I blow up people's habits. And that got me really thinking, because I'm like, what's the difference between like reading someone's habit and making a read? Because that really got my noggin jogging. And then I figured it out later on after pondering that fucking riddle. And it's like, when someone doesn't know what the situation is, or if they're just autopiloting, or just they haven't been challenged in a situation and they don't mix things up, you've looked at a habit. And so lots of players have habits where they do the similar things in a similar situation, and like, even if you blow it up, they'll just keep going. And that's a habit. And if
True.
capitalizing on those, that's not really a read. That's
Yeah.
just like adapting your game plan so that you automatically beat them in that situation next time.
Would you say that it's like recognizing a situation where a player is put in, maybe a certain situation, maybe like they're so far away from the opponent, or they're like coming down from being hit in the air, or in Guilty Gear anyway, being hit in the air and then teching, and then they kind of just do a thing because that's the situation, they do the thing, and not really for any reason that they're like actively thinking.
Like, if they like habitually tech back in FD, like, that's something you can exploit as well. Stuff
Or
like
even
that.
like,
I want to rematch Ferry now. Now that I know this is I can work with this.
or even like if I was playing Johnny, it's like, I air tech back, land, Zweihander, and I'm just going to do that every single fucking time.
Yeah.
Because bunga bunga, and that's just going to be a habit. So then that's habit, like capitalizing on habits, or like habit reads. And then there's decision reads, where both of you are actually conscious of the situation and conscious of the wheel of options, and you're actually playing rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah, that's the RPS read. Yeah.
And then when you're actually both awake and aware there, and you're actually making qualitative decisions, like, then that's when it gets juicy. And then you thought I was going to do this, so I did this, but then you didn't expect that, and blah, blah, blah. And Virtua Fighter is like that nonstop.
Yeah.
So that's one reason why it's really cool.
As a tip to new players, sorry Sam, just want to say, for new players, I think a lot of the times people don't realize that they are being habit read. They think they're being put into like a 50-50 and they're guessing wrong every time, when really they're just kind of doing the same shit. I mean, we're all guilty of this. Like,
Yes.
Jedi the other day tried to help me out by like giving me a situation where I do the same shit every time, and he's right. Every player does this, and I think it's important to be able to take a step back, look at your gameplay, and be like, okay, why am I doing this? I do this every time, and I'm not really thinking about it. And it's when you feel like you're getting blown up by your opponent, knows what you're doing every time, you should be able to look at it and be like, are they actually in my head here, or am I just like doing the same shit and just like feeding myself to them?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of new players get stuck with that, because it's really frustrating. You feel like there's nothing you can do when really you've put your head in the guillotine and pulled the lever yourself. You've done it to yourself, and you've got to be able to step back and be like, all right, I'm gonna do some new shit that I haven't thought of yet.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think for a lot of new players, it's just like actually coming up with complete game plans, because a lot of people like are really bad at that, I feel.
Age brings up a question. With the rock, paper, scissors read style, is it better to improve your player knowledge or improve your risk reward for your options.
It's a bit of
One
a
of
bit
them
of
is lab,
B.
the other one's fundamentals.
Yeah.
I feel like if you don't maximize your reward off the reads, there's no point making them in the first place. I think you want to be able to really make your opponent hurt for being red.
Yeah. I mean that's
yeah.
like optimization, like when you're playing the game or whatever.
Which means here is not so much like what you do after you make the read, but sort of like weighing your options based on the potential reward.
Like
Oh,
that's like
yeah,
weighted
yeah.
RPS, right? Like if getting hit by the overhead is gonna lead to more damage, then you should block the overhead, blah blah blah. But then they might just do the overhead, like
That's a
they
good
might not
point.
do the overhead because they realize that you're gonna do it, blah blah blah. Like
I
that
didn't think
depends
about
on that depends on game knowledge as well to some extent. I think like do the players realize that the overhead is gonna lead to more damage, or are they just like rolling the dice every time, or are they making the decision a lot more weighted manner or whatever?
Hmm.
I think to take an example, practical example, and I keep talking about Guilty here because I've just been playing it a lot lately. So sorry, I know it's a Skullgirls podcast, but I was playing JD the other day, and one thing I noticed is that he would begin to read my Popbuster attempts, right? But and my 5D attempts. He would like waking up in the corner and I'd just do dust on his wake up, right?
Yeah.
And soon he'd start reading it, or rather he'd react to it, and he would punish me, but he'd only punish me with like a DP, or he would just like backdash or just block.
Yeah.
I think it's really important to get as much reward as you can and consistently of every read you make. Otherwise, they just won't stop trying. It's like what would happen is he'd be waking up the corner. I do 5D. He either gets hit or he doesn't get hit. It's like in that situation, even if he blocks it, so what? I don't lose. That's like we both threw paper, you know? I'm just gonna do it again. I'm not scared of throwing paper if he never uses scissors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the scissors in this context being high damage, like wrecking me.
Like Blitz
Yes,
Shield or whatever.
What Abe said, I think, when the read is big reward, it does do the mental damage of making your opponent scared of doing that option anymore. So I think that when you are trying to wreck someone specifically for something they're doing, you want it to be big. You want them to be like, oh shit, I can't do that anymore. You know?
Well, it also depends on what kind of read you're making and what the context is, right? Like if you're, say, like in a context of like Skullgirls, you know, like Big Ben is a really good example of this, where he has 50 reversals, but he also has parry. So parry is, you know, what does it cover? It covers like high option or specifically high option or specifically low option, right? Like say if it's like Big Ben versus Philly, for instance, let's say that because that's a matchup I play heaps. Like if Big Ben can do several reversals in a certain situation, and it depends on what he wants to do, right? Like if he's gonna just SSJ, I'm like, okay, he's looking to just beat all my options that are not blocking, and he doesn't get a lot off it, you know. Like it's a really fast option. Like say it's like a safe jump, you know. Let's say it's like a safe jump option. I do the safe jump, but SSJ beats everything. Like SSJ beats the safe jump, and then he might go, okay, if he picks light extend, then it beats everything. But if I do like empty jump low or delayed high, that beats it, you know. But if he did L extend and I just did the safe jump, I'd beat it. But or if I like empty jump through or whatever. And then if he does parry only beats the high option. So it's like you really specifically had a read that they do the high at a specific timing. So you have to read either they'll do the safe jump high or they'll do the delayed high, or if you're reading the low, they have to do the low or whatever. Like it all depends on what kind of read you want to go for, and what kind of how many options your read covers, all that sort of stuff.
Age brings up another good question, which I'm going to read. What if you want them to keep doing it? Maybe you want them to keep doing it for later in the set. So you take only a small reward that's safer, so it doesn't take away your in, and then later you take the full payoff. That's tricky.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. I hadn't thought about that. That's true. You might sometimes want to just do like, you know, maybe you're just testing the water, You know, maybe you're thinking, oh, does he up back here? I'm gonna jump up
like
and
that's
air throw him.
actually exactly the mentality I had when I had that first attempt versus Jedi Link like ages ago. Because I was like, he's gonna call beat extend round start every fucking time. I'm gonna not punish it so that I can punish it later in the set and he won't adapt to it as fast.
Yeah, that's a good point. So
I feel like
I think
there's like a set
depending on
that-
the progress in the set, you might want to take big damage, or you might just want to, you know, keep it ready.
I feel like there's a set, like a very famous set that goes over this exact philosophy, but I can't remember it for the life of me.
I think.
Oh, no,
it
it's the
was
Daigo,
fucking
it's the Daigo Xian thing. Yeah, that's what it is.
Daigo Xian. Was it Daigo Xian? 'Cause
Yeah, where
I
he like
remember
intentionally
another
got
one.
he intentionally got hit by low forward hands into FADC. So one, he didn't actually end up eating super, and then he also showed Xian that it's an option that he can go for, and then otherwise after that he just stopped dealing with, like, stopped getting hit by it.
Wait, what?
Yeah, like Xian with Gen would do like low forward hands FADC.
So that he wouldn't have super later in the match.
Yeah, but then also it
Oh,
showed
what a
Xian
fucking
that
god.
it's an option that Daigo is getting hit by, but then he's like planting the seed. Like, it's a very Tekken mentality as well. Like, Tekken players do that stuff a lot of the time where they like intentionally show how they move, and the other guy is like, at some point they go, okay, the other guy's recognized it. Now I'm gonna change it up and see what they're doing. You know, like try to beat
But then
what they're
you
doing.
got the tempo read on their adaptation to your movement, and then the moment they try to capitalize on your movement, you fucking death fist them in the face.
Yeah, like stuff like that.
That's pretty cool. On a basic level, for maybe more inexperienced players to take note of, when you get hit by something that's just like, ugh, like a reversal super or whatever.
Yeah.
Don't be like, ugh. Be like, okay, he thinks he can do this now. Boom. You can use that to your advantage later.
Exactly. Every single decision an opponent makes is an opportunity to blow them the fuck up,
Yeah.
because every single decision has a risk to it. I still can't get over the fact that Daigo intentionally eating hands removes super. That's actually godlike strategy.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Like, I'm not exactly sure if that's just a translation or whatever, but I knew that it was a thing.
No.
Like, people actually talked
Yeah,
about
that like works out perfectly strategically. I'm still
Yeah.
in awe of that. The one that I thought you were referring to was Alex Valle versus Bonchan, because that matchup was godlike, because he was
Hugo?
playing Hugo against Sagat, and like what happened was that he let Bonchan jump away every single
Oh,
time
yeah,
in the
yeah,
set,
yeah.
until finally, like when it mattered the most, like when it was the like last match, last set, then Bonchan jumped away thinking, well, he can't anti-air me because he's a fucking
He
shit
hasn't been
cunt,
doing
he
it the whole
can't do
time.
it. He hasn't been doing it, so why should I fucking respect that? But then he's like Ultra 2, bitch.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's also that's the other, I think that's the actual one I was thinking of, but then the Daigo Shin one came to mind first.
That was a great example, because that was I think that's a way more high level example
Yeah.
than the Alex Valle versus Bonchan one.
Yeah.
But
Oh, that's a cool
I
parry,
got
risky, but then you fuck up the punish. That's cool. I'm just watching the match right now. Sorry.
Oh, is this last week?
Oh no, this is your BAM matches offline.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, yeah, like I feel like there's a lot of with reads and stuff. There's so many more layers of thinking that you can go into. But I feel like we should also probably bring it down to like the I mean, I guess we kind of talked about the basics already, which is like pay attention to the screen, see what they're doing, and like counter it, right? But then, like, it also depends on what level of adaptation they are at and all that sort of stuff, which is like inherently incredibly complex. It's kind of hard to talk about it.
Something that I want to talk about, which seems like there's a decent segue into it. As far as like recommendations for new players, I sort of do the way I think about doing reads is I feel like I have pre-packaged reads, and that's really in situations where like I observe situations where people will do a certain option. Not necessarily because it's like their habit or because it's like I'm reading that, but more because it's like common response that a lot of people have to that particular situation. And if you pick up on that, you can like always, but like it'll work a lot of the time.
I mean,
I've got a
like
few-
you air throwing up backs because you're fucking good at that.
well,
that's a habit
that
read.
is one example. It's like if you can figure out the situations where people are likely to up back and sort of recognize them in game, you can blow that up.
Yeah, that's the habit
Um,
read that we talked about earlier.
Wow.
That's like the majority of what you do in
I
terms
sort
of
of-
reads Jedi. Because I think that personally, your in the moment decision making reads aren't that great, but that's because but your general habit reads, like you're very good at breaking down the game and breaking down the situations and taking advantage of the most common situation in situations, which is that's like to be expected. You're from melee, and in melee, that is what you do to win, and you are fucking everyone up with the melee habit read exploitation. That's good.
A certain example I can give is that something I just do a lot of the time
Yeah.
is I do in any situation where I'm sort of even frame advantage, I just do jab overhead. And it's that's not a read on them down backing. That's just a thing. It's just jab overhead. But it just works because people down back. Or jab tick throw, same thing.
Yeah.
Like
That is a good thing to bring up because it means you should have your layer one, what do I do in this situation set for all the situations you can experience and you can think of.
Yeah.
I think, Jedi's talking about, not reads on a player specifically, but just, situations that make pretty much all players want to do a particular thing.
Yeah.
It's you're landing on the ground after, blocking in the air or whatever. What are you going to do? You're going to down back, right? That's the go-to. So then Jedi does, jab into overhead or whatever, and, calls that out. I think that's good to be able to see situations that make players want to do things, even if it doesn't apply to maybe a specific player, but as a more general sort of, this is a situation that makes people want to do this. Those reads are I don't know if they're reads, calling them that
they're the layer one that you
sounds
build.
kind of-
I think of them as pre-packaged reads, which is what I said
I
earlier.
feel like that's more the layer one you develop, all that sort of stuff,
Yeah.
The other thing I want to say is that the way I sort of developed that, this is more sort of to recommend to new players who want to sort of get better at the game, is that
Yes.
just watching replays, just watching every single situation that happens, what do people do? And okay, I do a jump in, then I just do crouch medium kick, crouch light kick, crouch medium kick, crouch heavy punch, the normal string, which is sort of the autopilot thing people do, is they they have this combo that they've memorized, and they're just dilate that muscle memory, right? And I'm oh hey, they just crouch the entire time. So maybe the next time I do this, I'll just do the overhead. And I thought about that, and I just I started doing it, and it just worked all the time. I mean is that for new players, the way I would recommend to learn to do that is just by watching replays and just analyzing what people do in every single situation. Watch it with frame advance, watch it in slow motion.
What's their inputs?
Yeah, watch it with inputs.
Absolutely watch their inputs as well. And I think doing that in replays sort of helped me develop the skill to be able to recognize it better in game as well. Or that might also just be just because I was more comfortable with the game. It was easier for me to recognize things in game.
Yeah, totally. That's something. That's also kind of why I did the whole analysis thing so much, is that it actually helped me with my situation awareness so many more times, where I was hey, these people just keep doing this idiot option every single time. And then the more I looked at it in a replay, the better I got at it in excellent matches. Because it makes you habitually have to look at, not habitually, it makes you specifically have to look at what people are doing, to actually give analysis on that. Not sure if that makes any sense or not. Wow, that was a dumb DP. Holy shit.
Whose DP was it?
Risky DP, and then you sing SBO'd it.
Wah.
Where you risky DP'd Jedi's assist, and then Jedi was 310 characters away, and then
That happens a lot, actually.
Which character is this?
He's playing.
I'm playing Big Band, and you're just mid-screen, and you call assist, and I DP, and you just blow me up. That happens a lot.
Yeah, maybe you should do a launcher that time, and just up back.
Well,
I think, yeah.
I can blow up the launcher as well.
I mean, the launcher is way harder to blow up than the beat extend, because you have
87. Yeah,
380,000
it's not
frames
as
to
reactable,
react
yeah.
to. Oh, the DP just happened. I'm just gonna destroy this character right now. Let me get my tissues and everything.
I think one
Ace
thing
says
I need to
something.
get better at reacting is when I'm hitting the assist and not the point. It's like as Valentine, I could like cancel into scalpels or something to make it safer instead of just
crouching
like
heavy
accepting my doom.
Yeah, like actually just.
Well, in
just
my situation in my head here, I'm thinking about when I'm jumping in, I'm doing like jumping meaning punch, and I start hitting the assist, which obviously has loads of hit stop because I'm hitting them like 5 times, and then Jedi's just sitting below like, yes.
Here's what you can do. You can hit jumping. If you're already low to the ground, you can hit jumping heavy punch and fast fall. If you're higher in the ground, you hit jumping medium kick heavy punch to do that fast fall reset.
I see.
Setup thing, and it's just like, cut your thing short. You only do the one jumping medium kick hit, and you're safer.
Alright, I'll get that a try. I've been trying to do the fast fall. I haven't done it successfully. I mean, I've done the fast fall, but I haven't like set up afterwards. I'm gonna try like running under them and stuff. That might.
Yeah, you just do run under, stand, jab, jab, jab.
Yeah. Alright. Anyway, this is off topic.
Yeah, I mean.
Yes.
There's always. I feel like discussing Skullgirls things in context is fine. It's like more fun than talking about Guilty Gear specifics or Melee specifics or whatever. Anyhow, I don't know.
So age said a thing. I think there's a difference between seeing idiot habits and punishing them, and seeing common but sensible habits and countering them. Yeah. I
There is.
agree.
However, when you ascend, then the common and sensible
becomes
habits
the idiot habits. Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to bring up a Street Fighter 4 example because, well, this is a smorgasbord of games because a lot of different situations are best exemplified in different games.
Yeah.
And in Street Fighter 4, the common and sensible habit is wake up, delay, crouch deck. But then later on, you're playing against someone good and they know that wake up, delay, crouch deck is a sensible option, so they just delay and counter hit you on your wake up for a gorillion damage, and then you feel like a moron.
Yeah. Like that sort of stuff sets up like counter hit fierces or whatever, which leads to like a disgusting amount of damage.
Yes.
Like stuff like that. I mean, that's always also like if you were to give a Skullgirls context to this, it would be like in this sort of knockdown situation, people always just down back beat extend or up back beat extend, and figuring out what's the best way to blow that up in different ways. Because I feel like also different reactions is also useful for making reads or whatever. But I'll go into it a little bit later.
Yeah, like one thing with Valentine that I did when I still ran Seracopter was that if I expected them to like down back updo, then I would call Seracopter and throw them. And so when I threw them, Seracopter would catch the DP assist, and then I would happy birthday both characters.
Yeah.
I think when H says idiot habit, maybe it's like we're talking about a habit which is done for a reason compared to a habit which is just like there was no thinking involved. It just happened. I think
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I mean you go.
No, you finish.
No, I think you go.
You finish your thing. Do it.
Okay. I think a sensible habit doesn't really become an idiot habit as much as it just becomes like no longer as correct to do. I think like an idiot habit might be something you just do for no reason at all. Other than that, it's just ingrained in your muscle memory. And a sensible thing is something you're doing for at least a reason, rather than just, this is just what I do because I've done it for 1,000 years and I don't change.
Yeah, I feel like that's like contextually differentiating between that is something that I personally don't care about, which is what I was gonna say. Like like if somebody just reversals every time on wake up, I don't care if it's an idiot habit or if it's a sensible, they're thinking about if I'm gonna reset habit. Like to me, what matters is they did a reversal,
Yeah.
Like especially at the most basic level is that I don't care if they're always gonna reversal, especially in the first time. Like if I see a reversal 2 times, I'm like, does he always just reversal? And then I'll just blow it up specifically. But if I see a reversal one time and I like get hit by it, I'm like, okay, whatever. And then the second time I don't see a reversal, then I'm like, all right. So he's like, changing it up. But to me,
I think
what
there's
not
a
matters.
difference.
Sorry, go ahead.
Because I think that in the context of someone just reversaling because they just want to, I think you can safely bait that without any fear of repercussion. I think if it's a sensible reversal, it's more likely that the thought applied may lead to you actually getting wrecked for baiting it. I think if you detect that someone just likes to reversal, you can just bait it every time, and they'll either do it or not do it. They'll never wreck you for waiting. You remember Yoma?
Yeah, no,
you
I realize
lot, right?
I know what you're talking
But
about.
you think, at least, you think about it, and we look back at that room after you fucking blew me up for baiting. And I think that's a difference between a sensible habit and an idiot habit. Is that there's no risk with the idiot habit.
Did he throw you on wake up or something?
No, he
I up-backed and he A-trained me on reverse. Like, he woke up A-trained me.
Well, like, I feel like that is more like if you're a good player or not. I'm not sure. Like, to me, again, I don't really it doesn't really affect me that much, like.
Yeah.
It's like I guess it's somewhat situational as to whether that actually affects me or not in that sort of way.
I mean, like that me getting wrecked by that showed me that I was thinking Yoma had an idiot habit,
right?
But really he was thinking and was ascended and blew me up.
Yeah, I guess in that way, makes a bit more sense. I still personally don't really give a shit about that. Like, it's like, oh, he just did it, he does the thing that he does, and then he changes up to that, and I think it matters more in big sets, I guess. In short 2 out of 3s or 3 out of 5, I don't think it's that pertinent. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Because it still means that you're actually thinking about doing different reversal options on wake up.
Yeah.
Which is significant enough. It means that you're not just doing SSJ or block.
Yeah, I guess in the specific context of what the hell is that mesh? Trying to see what you're trying to get better at reading. I guess it depends say if you were the person that had to deal with that, what how would you classify that in terms of reading your opponent? I mean, I guess you kind of said that already, but
yeah.
I'm not sure how much that affects that in a practical way. I'm not sure if I'm not really sure what I'm going with this.
The thing is that Big Band is one of those characters who has the most varied amount of wake up options in the game. I think even including Cerebella, except for the fact that Big Band doesn't have wake up 360.
Yeah, I think Bella still probably has more than.
Yeah, but
Big Band has parry, so.
And you can do nerd option selects and blah 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 blah.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, top team doesn't really.
I think what we're getting at here is that if they're thinking about how they're doing their just do reversal, if they're actually thinking about it, you have to consider that, and the way you approach baiting it might be a bit different. Where if they're just
down back instead.
Yeah, or up back, or space it out so you might make it whiff.
Forward work against.
Yeah, you might do it differently.
It does not work against A-Train.
If they're just if they're just not thinking and they're just mashing it, you don't have to think about any of that. You can just block in their face with no fear of anything different happening.
I'm swayed by the argument. Only a little bit. I don't know. I mean, I understand it. It's just it is what it is.
I think you're right when you say that on a fundamental level in terms of you're getting wrecked for it. There's no difference between you blocking an SSJ and you blocking an SSJ that had a brain behind it. I think,
in the specific context, yeah.
In the context of a whole set, I think it will benefit you to pay attention to whether or not there was a brain behind it. But I think definitely in the context of that one punish, it doesn't matter. They did the SSJ and you blocked it, and then you just fuck them up for it.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. I have a thing I want to bring up, because we already brought up the bifurcation between habit reads and decision reads. But there's another category of reads which I think is very important, which is on a whole nother dimension compared to those other two. So there's decision reads, there's habit reads, but then there's tempo reads. Now, tempo reads, timing reads, they are some of the they're some of the most aether reads you can have, because they're not necessarily, it doesn't care about if they have a habit. It doesn't care about, it cares about if they have a habit. It doesn't care about the decision of their habit, necessarily, but it does care about when they do decide to do a thing. And when they do decide to do a thing, that's a time you can just, if you know the timing of when they're going to do a thing, you can time your stuff late, you can time your stuff early. It's if you understand when they're going to press a button in neutral, and you understand the tempo and the timing, and you're like good at rhythm games, so you understand how to time your like button press in relation to theirs, you can just counter hit them out of everything they want to do.
I think this style particularly blows up players who don't do nothing. You know how there's players who they just always want to be doing something. Always, they're either pressing a button or they're jumping or they're you know, they're doing something.
They have a predictable tempo. They're operating on the same rhythm all the time. And you can see like this type of read exemplified in like Tekken neutral, but also third strike neutral.
Yeah.
Like classically, you'll see like two Kens like walking near each other, walking near each other, walking near each other. They both press crouching medium kick, but one of them like had the timing read better, pressed it first, and then get the crouching medium kick super.
Yeah.
Like it's classic.
Or like baiting somebody to do like it like when parries become really easy in third strike is when you know somebody's gonna do some dumb shit, you know?
Yeah.
Like if they're always like they're gonna block I don't know what's a good option for this.
Well, you could just have you enter crouching medium kick range. They're gonna press crouching medium kick if they're not thinking. They'll just they just want to do it straight away. So it's easy to blow up.
Or like if they did always do crouch it light kick, medium kick, fireball or whatever. Like that's so easy to parry.
Yeah. For a Skullgirls example.
Only because of the tempo,
Yeah. For a Skullgirls example, I actually was working like when I was playing a lot of Cerebella, I was actually working on specifically doing tempo reads on resets. Like I would start doing the Cerebella restand. Actually, no, I think it was Filia, but whatever. It still works with. Actually, no, it was Filia. So whatever. You just do the Filia restand, like the air dash, medium punch, heavy kick, and then there I would do either low or high. Cool. And then once they start blocking the high correctly, there it's like cool. Then my reset point is restand, jumping, heavy kick, crouching, light punch, and then instant air dash, light kick, heavy kick. Because they've already decided to block high, and they're past to the point where they would need to block high. So they're like, oh, okay, I'm just going to block low now. And bam, they get unzipped with the high.
Yeah, I get that. You, like, delay the reset point. Yeah, because it happens, and they're like, low or high, and then they just stop thinking about it.
So it wasn't a different mix-up decision, but it was a different mix-up timing, and therefore fucked them up.
Yeah, that's legit. I think Jedi does a bit of that, too.
Well, I mean,
like him to roll overhead, her to stand light kick overhead or whatever. Wait, what?
Jedi, are you talking right now? I think you like cut out.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hi.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was just saying that like my character Squiggly kind of inherently does that. That's kind of like her strength in mix-ups, that she can just do it at any point.
Yeah. And so mixing up at what point you do it, it's like
it's kind of really easy to do that, huh? I guess Parasol's very good at it as well.
I think to do it for a new player, you need to be able to not be scared of just doing nothing, per se. You need to be thinking, all right, like, he's thinking, my opponent is thinking about what to do on defense. I can just do nothing for a second. And then it'll fuck with their timing.
Yeah, like, a lot of people
if you're terrified that they're just gonna be hitting you for no, reason, you're not gonna be able to do this. You just gotta be like, all right, he's, on the defensive, I can just do nothing for, half a second, and then do my mix-up.
Yeah, or, a lot of people are really bad at actually dealing with that in Skullgirls, because that, never happens. An example would be, the crouch light kick or whatever, but then you can, if you do the restand, then you just wait half a second and then do the crouch light kick, because people's defensive options don't include that factor. So that's something you can use to just destroy them for.
Yeah,
it's another glitch in the Matrix.
Yeah.
I think, on a related topic, not entirely similar, but to do with tempo, I think when it comes to reading habits and also trying to be unpredictable, I think it's best to, as a player, you want to not take in the how do I say this? The state of the match. You don't want it to influence your decision making too much. For example, just because your health is low doesn't mean it's time to reversal. That's the worst time to reversal.
And
Because-
like
Might be
it depends
time
on
to
the
reverse.
reading of, oh, I'm going to lose if I don't make anything happen, so I have to reversal. But then
Yeah.
that's when you shouldn't be
Yeah.
reversing, because then it makes it really obvious.
That's
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
a really good point to bring up in a larger sense, because that's like it ties tangentially to that idea of Daigo eating Han's FADC so he doesn't have to eat super. It's like, but in a different way, because there it's like he's thinking strategically for what he's willing to eat, but this time it's like thinking strategically in regards to what's the condition of the match and how does the condition of my match affect my decision making, because it's like you're low health, so the risk reward and everything is infinitely high because anything you do means you die.
Yeah.
Does that mean your decisions change? Yes, no. Does your opponent think it means your decisions change? Yes, no. That's another thing. But then there's also like you have no meter, so you have no super. Then there's also like you have 1 meter, therefore you unlock these certain options. So you do have to play differently when people have options unlocked, unless you decide not to play differently with those options unlocked in order to condition your opponent to think otherwise. Like in the Alex Valle and Bonchan set, where
Yeah.
Alex Valle had his Ultra 2 and just decided not to use it until later on.
Or like in a Skullgirls context, like if you have a safe DHC, which you just don't do it,
Yeah.
or whatever.
I think in regards to doing a safe DHC in Skullgirls, I think like not doing it when you can is a bit too much of a liability.
I mean, like it depends on like the kind of safe DHC too, right? Like
Yeah.
if it's a DHC that can be alpha countered, then people just forget it. Like you would be surprised at how easily people just forget that you can just alpha counter a DHC, you know?
Yeah.
If we're talking about safe DHCs, when I'm trying to like look for my safe DHC, all I'm waiting for is I just want you to call and assist, and then I'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like stuff like that as well. Like that's like resource management, right? That's part of it. But that's not necessarily part about the reads. Hee hee haha.
Just
You know,
related to
Yeah.
Yeah.
This bringing up strategy in regards to what reads you should be matching is very interesting, because that's another like decision point tracking. That's a little phrase that popped into my head and it sounds nice. It's like being able to be aware of where decisions can be different.
Yeah. You wanna be able to recognize when certain factors are gonna be swaying someone's decision making, like time on the clock, your health levels, meter levels, things like that.
Whether they ate a low 3 times in a row or not.
Or
And
they
those are all
got
factors.
thrown into Crash Light Punch. Captain.
Yeah. I actually I tried to troll Jedi Link with that in like the grand finals in BAM 10.
Yeah.
And he actually like adapted faster than I thought, and I was like, I'll take that.
Are you talking about like when you were doing the early throws and I SSJ'd?
Yeah.
I actually kind of cheated because you did. Oh, and I noticed that you did like early throw, and then low, and then I
Yeah.
like got the 2 throws, and I'm like, oh shit, is he gonna low? Maybe I'll SSJ.
Yeah.
Because I like that wasn't really me like reading. That's just because I watched you do that to someone else.
Sasuga
sorry.
Jedi Link.
Sorry,
Demystified.
That's fair enough. So there goes the show. Don't use the same unzip when someone's watching you unzip someone with it.
Well, yeah, that's kind of the point, right? I mean, like you can use that for manipulation as well. Like that's kind of a read as well.
Yeah.
Like,
We're
you play
talking
around
about
somebody's
that.
expectation of what they understand about a certain situation.
We're talking about that at BAM. Jedi was like standing behind me and I was fighting. I'm like, Jedi, stop looking yet for my tech! Oh my god.
Yeah, looking for your tech. Yeah, you have lots of tech to look for. Cat.
Shut the fuck up. First Academy, right now.
Maybe
Okay,
not today.
Well, thanks for letting me know that's what your mindset was during a Jedi Link, because that actually threw me off for a loop, and I was like, do I have to think about different things in a different way? Jedi Link, good player.
nah, I cheated. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I shattered the illusion that I was actually good.
Like, I mean, like it depends on like.
Every time a character select.
Has
That's also
anyone
something
seen that
that-
that meme image that's like when you like show your friend how to deal with something and then you like deal with their dealing the next time it happens in the game.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not fair.
Yeah.
You like, that's part of the Inception as well. Is like you plant the evidence. You're like, this time, like you have seen what is happening, but this is pre-game Inception as well. So that's pretty crazy.
You're framing them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, oh no, it's like if you tell somebody, man, hey man, I'm gonna slap you now, and then you slap them, and then you walk up to somebody else, you're like, hey, I'm gonna slap you now, and then they instinctively flinch.
I've been like considering, like, in games like round start or whatever, when I'm against Jedi, like at Ramparts, to just say something like, I'm not going to beat extend round start or something similar, just to like
Not really
throw
gonna
some
work with it
spanners
because
in
I
his
don't
Now
really
you've shown them the thing.
I
It's
try
not
to
fun.
just do safe round starts, so like I'm not gonna do anything risky that I would fall for. You know what I mean?
But would you be thinking about it at all? Would you put any brain
I
power
would be
towards
like,
it?
okay, now I'm just gonna do an even more defensive round start.
Well then, boom!
It's like,
Your game plan has changed. Mission success.
that it's like
Sign up successful.
I just want to interrupt.
try
us.
it if
I
you
just-
want to.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. I was going to talk about the match. Some garbage happened. Robo Fortune sucks. Tell your friends.
Excellent.
But yeah.
There's actually one more thing about tempo reads that I'd like to mention, of how like you can break down tempo reads, like not just when do they like to do something, but there's actually a cycle. It's literally a cycle of tempo. Like
Yeah, like when people like... That's part of the reads in general as well. It's like when you think of options, it's like what options do they like to take, and when they
Oh.
like to take that option, like...
not even that. I'm talking about like breaking down like between each beat. What does between each beat look like? And I figured it out when I was like playing some Super Turbo like ages ago, and I was like, oh fuck, this is what it is. It's your reaction speed clock time.
Yeah.
Because whenever you're like doing something, like whenever you're playing the game and you're playing at your certain rhythm, there's like, okay, there's some like half of your total tempo is I'm looking at the situation, I'm gathering information, and then it's like the next little bit is, all right, I'm gonna make a decision here, like, or like you're figuring out what to do with the information you got, and then you make the decision near the tail end of the tempo, and then you execute.
Yeah.
And so if you can pay attention to like that clock of like taking information, figure out what decision to make the decision, then you can start throwing spanners in people's works by like literally fucking with when you do it on like on a, like if people are acting on beat, you go beat, half beat, half beat, half beat, half
Yeah.
beat. And
Like,
so that-
I guess in a Super Turbo example, it would be like, if you say like you like knock them down and then you like stand next to them, they might go like they said like Honda versus Rio, right? Like you're baiting the
Yeah.
DP. Like I guess like there's several contexts to that, but like say you're the Honda, you're baiting the DP from the Ryu that you know that you're better than. You're like, I'm just gonna wait a little bit before I do my Ochio, and then he might go, oh, I'm just gonna match crutch leg kick, and then you hit their crutch leg kick startup with like low jab hands or whatever, something like that.
yeah.
Or just raw super if you wanted to do that,
Yeah, the situation I was thinking of was like Cammy versus Guile, where you actually have to like start doing a lot of mad tempo reads on Guile's Sonic Boom, because when he Sonic Booms, he likes to go down, so he doesn't have a flash kick anymore.
Yeah.
So it was literally like paying attention to his tempo, and then like half a beat before he's going to throw Sonic Boom, there's like a period of time where he literally has decided to stop taking in information. And so if I jump here, it's like a quarter of the way through my jump arc. He's pre-committed to throwing the Sonic Boom right before I jump. So it's like I jump, I'm halfway through, like a quarter way through my jump arc. Then he's thrown the Sonic Boom then.
Yeah.
It's not like, I'm on the timing that he is going to throw the Sonic Boom, I'm going to jump, because that means you'll get anti-it. But if you do it...
You
on
should
the
do it
offbeat
before,
timing-
yeah.
Yes, you do it on the offbeat
That's
timing. And
interesting.
you have to like pay attention to like, when is he going to take in information? When's he going to process the information and decide on something? And a lot of players, like, they spend a lot of time deciding on what to do, and that means they're not taking in information. And if
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you have something to add to that?
yeah, I would just say that as a player on the defense to this, like if someone's doing this to you, I think what you want to do is just do nothing, as in like stop your thinking for a second and just like let stuff happen.
Yeah.
Then I think you won't fall into the trap of like this guy's got your rhythm figured out. He knows like when you're gonna try the thing. If you just like wait like half a second, it's like whoa, it's suddenly different.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
in the context of Cammy versus Guile, it's like if the Guile decides to just not do anything for like say like if on Tempo 1 the Guile's like, okay, I'm just gonna wait, Cammy didn't do anything, and at 2 he goes, okay, she didn't do anything, she's not gonna do anything, I'm gonna Sonic Boom, and then the Cammy like at 1.5 decides to jump.
Exactly.
But then the
That's
Guile was
exactly
like, okay,
right.
I'm just gonna wait for 3, and then if she does the the jump, I'll just anti-air it, But then it
Yeah.
depends on if they'll jump at 2.5 instead of 1.5 or whatever.
Yeah. But then there's the adaptation that God can make later, which is if he's reading that Cammy is on like a half beat difference, then he can adjust his Sonic Booms to another half beat.
Yeah.
And then it's just like Cammy jumps and Guile throws a Sonic Boom at 1.5. And so
Yeah.
they're synchronized again.
Or the Guile can just throw it at 1 or whatever, There's a lot of stuff that he can do with that. That's why the Fireball game in of itself is really deep.
Yeah.
Because there's so
Like,
many
a lot of-
timing mix-ups and so much interaction happening at the same time.
Yeah, Super Turbo is really amazing, and I think it's required like playing for anyone that wants to actually get good at fighting games, especially learning how to deal with the Fireball war in that game, because you
Yeah.
will learn how to do timing reads.
Sam, does the tiny amount of Super Turbo I played at your house count? Can I be good now?
We need
No?
to-
Okay.
By the way, H just said this is a big deal, but I don't know what he's referring to.
He was referring to the half beat thinger.
Yeah.
Yeah, readjusting.
Readjusting
the
it,
tempo.
Yeah.
okay.
I agree
I
with
guess,
that.
like, in the
I think
Skullgirls
I think it's actually huge. Maybe it's less important in Skullgirls specifically.
No, I feel like it
But-
is. Like, if you think about, like, if people are calling defensive beat extends, dealing with it straight on is really difficult. So you can think of it as kind of like a Sonic Boom or whatever, like, they're spending the resource. And
Yeah,
then
okay,
you have
yeah,
to
you're right,
counteract
you're
that
right.
by either acting later and knowing how to act later against it, or acting earlier and knowing how to act earlier against it.
I think, yeah, I really need to start focusing on this. I think this could help me against people who are beating me right now.
Shit.
AKA
Yeah.
It
Jedi.
says it's real big in SG.
Yeah,
Back in the
I
day,
agree with that. Yeah.
My main issue is getting red on my jump timing in neutral.
Yeah, like, I mean, like, I'm watching the match right now, which is, I guess, somewhat pertinent to it, which is, like, Robo Fortune team against his Eliza team, and I'm like, okay, now I've beamed him 3 times. Like, it's a very Super Turbo mix-up, actually. It's like, I've beamed him 3 times, and then now he's going to do this, the anti-beam thing, now.
Yeah, like that's one of the biggest reasons that I loved playing as Robo Fortune, because you can just play the Super Turbo Fireball game at full screen. It's amazing. I love it.
Yeah, but, well, the character sucks, Cap.
The power of doing nothing.
Yeah,
Which
like, there's
continues what
like,
you're
so many
saying.
things you can do with that. There's so many interactions that happen, and the way they can happen is very deep as well.
Saying, back in the day in Jedi, my main issue was getting red on my jump timing in neutral, and I remember him suddenly not knowing what to do when I sat still. But if I had just done short periods of standstill, then start a new tempo.
Yes, that is a thing.
Yeah, like, I mean, like, it depends on... You have to... It's like, at some point, their game plan is just going to be able to segment, like, deal with all your segmented decision, like... What was that? The 3 steps of, like, habit read, decision read, and tempo read, right? Like,
Yes.
like, it's like, when you're getting better at fighting games in general, it's like, first you have to learn to deal with habit reads, and then you have to learn to deal with decision reads, and then when people just get better at dealing with the decision reads as well, you have to actually look at tempo reads as well to be able to counteract that,
It's a weird sort of like you can go either way. It depends on how the player learns, because some players learn to do tempo reads early on, and some players learn to do decision reads early on.
I feel like that depends on the game.
It does depend on the game.
Yeah.
In that case, like one like off-topic subject I'm really interested in is like players' habits carried over from games that they used to. And so I really enjoy seeing like a Tekken player pick up Street Fighter, or a Melee player pick up Street Fighter, or just any non-Street Fighter player pick up Street Fighter, or any non-Game X game player pick up Game X, and seeing how there's a common thread of what's their like fundamentals base and how do they expect the game to work, and therefore how are they gonna fuck up when the game doesn't like actually play
Work
the
like
exact
that.
same way the previous game does.
Right.
And so it would be like, if you're just coming into a game, like you said, it would depend on whether the game rewards decision reads or tempo reads. Like, you could say that if you go into Virtua Fighter straight up, you'd be all about the decision reads and not much about the tempo reads. But then you look at high level like Homestay Kira, and he just fucking... he like crouch dashes 5 times in their face, and then like right when he knows they're going to press a button, he like super dash elbows them for a counter hit. It's unfair.
Well,
You can just...
I feel like all games require a certain element of both. It's just that which
Yeah.
one is a lot easier to access at the start, right? Like
Yeah.
Third Strike, for example, especially if your character blows, you kind of have to do tempo reads. Like if your character doesn't have high or low parry into super, you have to do low parry super or delay low parry to super. If that makes
Yeah.
any sense, you know? Like, but in Skullgirls, there's so many more decisions. There's so many more raw decisions that can be made.
Yeah.
Where decision reads become more prevalent at the start, like as you're getting better at
Yeah.
it. But of course, like having both is very, very important to get better.
When it comes to really mechanically dense games, habit reads become the most important ones, I think.
Oh yeah, I mean, like that's kind of the start of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a starter of it, but some games aren't like as mechanically dense as others, and so decisions and tempo become relevant far earlier.
Yeah.
Like the decision reads don't matter that much in Super Turbo when you're playing Firewall Wars, because the mechanics run out, and now you're starting to play tempo.
Yeah.
But in like Skullgirls, Guilty Gear, Melee, all those games are like, do you know the situation? No? Get blown the fuck up, scrub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Age is typing. I'm just want to see what he's typing. I also feel like there are like there's like everybody who's talking about things, and Age is like, oh, that makes more sense or whatever, which I think is kind of funny given how it used to be. I don't know.
What do you mean?
As in, like, Age used to be the best, like, way before or whatever, you know?
I have no memory of that time.
He knows a lot more different things. Like, he knows more stuff about Skullgirls, the game itself.
Yeah.
It's just, it's one of those, like, we can see in Age probably what happens when you pick up Skullgirls as your native game. You get drowned in mechanics. Completely drowned.
Yeah. Oh, my robot sucks. Why am I watching this? I think that's exactly why I should be watching this. Alright.
I'm glad that Age has like gotten back into the swing of things.
Yes.
Good on Age. I look forward to being recycled by you further.
Excellent.
I still remember the good old days of being 40-0 by Age.
I feel like it's really funny how, like, Age and Risky have developed, where Age is almost entirely a decisions and tempo-based player, and, like, exploiting, like, people's habits and all that, whereas Age is a lot more exploiting lack of information.
You said
and all
Age
that.
twice.
Yeah, you said Age for the
No,
first one.
Risky's the one that does the thingy. Age is the one that does the beat them using the game or whatever.
Yeah.
Age like knows the mechanics like the back of his hand, and I know the brain in the player like the back of my head.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's always
It's actually
benefits to both, right? Like, you gotta mix it up.
Yeah,
But,
you
like,
need
yeah,
both.
obviously you gotta have both.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
blah blah.
What were you saying, Jedi?
It's really interesting watching Risky play Guilty Gear. I was like staying behind him when he was playing some of his bracket matches, and like just watching how many pop busters he was getting, and I was like,
Yeah. A lot of it is literally because people are just down backing. That's it. Like, I get unzipped by because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna block here now. Pot busted.
And then you're like, all right.
Touche, friend.
A lot of people say that I get way too many pop busters.
Yeah, that's because you don't like, all right. So it's like, 1, you're in Australia. So 2, you're gonna pot buster a lot. That's the correct option. Because, like, people aren't just reacting to the pots near me. I should fuck off as the layer one.
Kind of wish I'd done better for Jedi Link Senpai. Next time, Jedi, I'm gonna win. Don't worry.
That's alright. You recycled Ander.
I did. And Steve.
And Steve.
Oh,
Yes.
Does Steve actually play GG much?
Who?
Steve.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He was like 3rd seed, wasn't he?
What?
4th seed, something like that. Yeah.
I mean, all I've heard of Steve.
And Ando was like 8 or something.
No,
like
I know that Ando's really good, but like all I know of Steve was that he likes BB way more and doesn't really like GG, so he like casually plays GG kind of.
I mean,
guess that's not really
the finals at SXE were Audacity versus Steve.
Wow. Okay. I guess he stopped caring about BB. I guess I'm not really sure. Or maybe he's just really good now. I don't really know.
But you know, good and bad alike all fall to my potmasters.
That's because everyone is bad.
Dun dun dun. Makes you think.
I do want to get better at games. Like,
Yes.
it is true that my weakness is that I lack game knowledge and I don't like understand situations as much as I could. I just like sometimes I just fall back on trying to read people when it's like that will only get me so far. If I like fail, then I'm just done for because I don't have the game knowledge required to like back that up.
Yeah, it's like it's like you're really good at reads, but at some point the mortality of like being incarnate in the game mechanics starts to fail you. And it's like my pitiful, weak, mortal body can't handle the transcendence that I'm trying to inflict on people.
You did this to me, Sam. You understand that, right?
I know.
Many years
I'm
of
sorry.
beating me in Third Strike with only throw. That's what did this to me, okay?
I feel like that's happened to me, but then I have come out the opposite side, so I'm not really sure.
It's weird.
I think it just depends on your upbringing to some extent. Like you're fighting.
I was way more of like a 380 lord in the past.
Yeah.
Way more. Like I think at some point you described like when I improved and became like less hyperfixated on being a 380 lord. Crazy Diamond's exact words is you now use less Jew tactics.
Wait, what?
Did I say that?
You said that.
What the hell?
It was years ago.
That just got recorded. Oh fuck.
That's alright. It was years ago. Who cares?
Yeah, I was a kid.
Yeah. But
True though, that sort of thing makes people really mad. They feel like it's cheap or it's like really frustrating. But
yeah.
I guess it's not that good in terms of like game mechanics. I mean, if it works, it works. But yeah,
I just want to mention one thing real
yeah,
quick. Like the example of what do you call it? Recognizing the tempo and stuff that happened like right there in the match that I was watching, where like the Robo Fortune beam, I called beam assist, and I was playing Filligan. Age had like only Robo left, and I realized that the beam he actually isn't blocking the beam, and then I had crouch light kick, and he was like, I'm crouching the beam, I should be doing some button, and then he got hit. See, that's some pertinent news for you.
Yes, very good.
Too bad my Robo blows outside of this. Jesus. Oh, that's cool. That happened. What the fuck? Why didn't I confirm that? Anyhow.
So, what should we talk about now? What is there left to cover?
I feel like it's such a deep topic that you can just like talk about just random stuff.
Yeah.
You know? I feel like we have a decent like starter though.
Like pertinent to newer players.
There's something else that I wanted to talk about, which we kind of like talked about more so ages ago, but going back to is like in terms of when to switch your habits, like when to switch your read, I should say. Like, oh yeah, they did this option X number of times, I should, do the other thing. I remember there was this time I played CM, and he was like talking to me in Steam chat. He was telling me off for like not really having any sort of consistent sort of response to or logic behind the options I was choosing between like high and low. And I was like thinking, oh well, it's just a guess, right? Because like I didn't have the concept in my mind at the time yet of like how it makes sense. But then he said something that to like sort of, if someone doesn't sort of, they lose to a particular option, then you should continue doing that option, and you should not assume that they're going to learn until you show them, until they show you that they will. And like that sounds like something that's super obvious.
Yeah, it really isn't. But like,
And
because people
like,
get in their heads too much about it as well. Like, if people just go, "Oh, now I've showed him the low," then he will know that the low is here or whatever. That also goes back to game knowledge as well, but like also risk reward knowledge as well, or like also just basic situation awareness where you've been hit by low 5 times now. Stop blocking low or whatever. But like, it depends on what people think about. Like one thing I remember hearing about a long time ago is knowing people's number. And that's really useful because I mean it came up in like Tekken, where
Oh yeah.
one I mean there's 2 kinds of numbers where one is like how many times will they get hit before they realize that it's a thing that's happening to them, where like how many times will you overhead somebody in the same setup before they go, this guy's just gonna overhead me, and a lot of people's number is 3. They go the first time they get hit by it they're like
Yeah,
whatever.
it's
The second time they're
Shirley's
like
number.
this setup is happening, and the third time they react. You know.
What were you saying, Jedi?
the thing I was saying before, I forgot. Hang on, give me a sec.
Sweet.
Yeah, I was going to say that like you don't necessarily have to read, or you don't know what people are going to do. It's mathematically sort of in your favor to continue doing the same thing until it doesn't work.
Well, yeah, but like, you know.
Just like because you don't know how many times it's going to take, but the best case scenario is that they never adapt to it and it just works every time.
Yeah.
Best case scenario is that like okay, it doesn't work the next time, but if you like switch early, you sort of miss out on the opportunity for how many more times it could work.
I also think that it's more likely that if someone like gets wrecked by a mix-up, the next time it happens, they're gonna try and block it successfully. They're not gonna like wreck you for trying it again. I think it's more likely that people are gonna be focusing on how to defend it rather than like say reversaling and wrecking your shit.
I think that's a good point as well.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's also player habit dependent. Like, it depends on what kind of player they are, whether they like to play it safe or not. But I'm not really sure.
Yeah. True.
Maybe we could like start talking about how to like our reads on specific players.
Yeah,
Or
sure.
like how we approach reading specific players, because Age brought that up and he said he knows how to 100% burst bait me once. And I'm like, no.
Alright, well then, let's go down the list, shall we? Starting with age. How do we read age, guys?
All right.
What's
Well,
his
I
habits?
know.
I just hit him and somehow he just gets hit like holding upward or neutral or just down or whatever.
So like
That's why I'm gonna say
because
Age.
I spent because for the longest time, Age was the problem in Skullgirls Oceanic. I spent a lot of time deconstructing Age and figuring out how the fuck to beat him. And literally, what I came up with was Age does not read, so I should not be thinking about reading Age. I just have to deconstruct his game plan, play a better strategy than he does, and then I win. In this instance, it's like a really, like, you kind of really have to bring that up as like the sort of really edge case type of situation with reads, where if you try to read at all, you failed. It's like if you're going beyond layer 1, you've failed. Like sometimes he'll like have some reaction to, okay, so he got hit high in this situation, so he's gonna up back and so I can low him, but yeah, that's just whatever defensive reactions.
Yeah, I feel like
But it's
mix-ups, like reads and mix-ups are the most uninteresting reads.
Yes.
Personally, I feel against Age. I don't know if you would agree, but personally, I feel that once he starts getting hit, once he's in a bad situation, his decision making maybe gets a bit clouded and kind of slows down. I think he's he's good with momentum. Once he's like unzipping you, he starts like playing really well and making good decisions.
So everything goes according to plan.
Yeah, I think that when unexpected shit happens and he's on the back foot, he kind of falls apart a bit. That's
The
what.
glitch in the Matrix causes a blue screen.
That's
So are we saying Age is
how I
MTK?
feel. Yeah.
Are we saying Age is mutating then?
He says,
He's the
I am very susceptible to option limitation conditioning, and it lasts between sets.
Yeah, it's like he gets blown up for this option, and then he thinks I am not allowed to do that option anymore.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah.
That's kind of whatever, right?
Jedi, how do you feel against Age?
Sure.
Okay, so this is the part where I'm supposed to sort of explain all my feelings and like thoughts on his habits and stuff. But as I've sort of had the issue in the past, where it's like, Age gets like crazy upset at me because I'm like blowing up everything he does, and he's like, I don't understand how you do this. Like, I think I need to like randomize my pattern and do something that I like completely never do, and I still read it. And like my reaction to that is like, I don't know. I don't really know how I do it, to be honest. So
Yeah.
I'll be honest. That's something about you more than it says more about you than it says about Edge.
Well, I mean, Jedi talked before that he has his like prepackaged reads, right? He does things that like he thinks should work because the opponent is just gonna want to do something. I think that's a combination of Jedi is good at recognizing those situations where people want to do stuff, and then Age maybe not so good at like taking back momentum once he's on the back foot, combines so that Jedi just recycles him all game without even having to think about it.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think because Jedi Link probably just doesn't have enough like experience, like he's more of an external player. Like he cares more about what's happening outside of himself.
Yeah.
But like
the way he makes the reads is not important to him. What matters is the read that was made, I guess. Is that what you kind of were going with?
Yeah, it's also like it's going to be hard to get anything like introspective out of Jedi Link because he's more of an like extroverted player. He's more about the mechanics and what to do and the situation. Whereas like me and Crazy, like we're the most like what's going on internally inside our own heads. And you, Yoma, you also have a lot of that. And Age is also thinking in that degree as well and trying to solve his limitations in regards to that. But because Jedi Link is just so good at playing games externally that he hasn't needed to like look inside.
It's
it's
true.
Weird.
You're always like, Jedi, how did you do whatever? And he's always just like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's that really weird bifurcation in the melee scene between read players and tech skill players.
Yeah.
Like when I heard that like being a point of distinction, I'm like,
that triggers you.
what? That's like, don't you need both? But then I play melee
and you
against
can see
someone
why
who actually, it's like I am not practiced. They are practiced. I instantly lose.
Yeah.
GG.
You can literally get overrun by the thing they're doing, even if you know how to... It actually reminds me of like FPS games a lot, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Like in FPS games, it doesn't matter if you have the right read of they're going to come from... I'm gonna cover side B, whatever.
Yeah, and then they just blow you up with a like amazing headshot.
Yeah, and you're like, I know exactly
second.
where you were. I can tell you where you're going to be like 30 seconds in advance, but it doesn't matter because I can't shoot you.
Yeah. All right. So there's something that Age posted here, and it like re-solidifies what I said about how I approached Age, where I just like, all right. So here's what he said. I started losing to CM originally, and I feel that his safe jump style really changed my style for the worse because it made me take a lot of my options away. I would have thought I was a read-based player a long time ago, but the solid tactics made me mistrust that. That covers a lot of points we covered already in the podcast, and it's good to reiterate on that. It's are you using 2 options or are you using 5? It's do you have enough game mechanics knowledge to limit your opponent's options legitimately? It's are you actually playing the game or are you just playing based on reads? It's like also covers the fact that I didn't focus on reading Age. I just focused on learning the game better and playing more solidly and just out strategizing him so that I would just win based on what the options are. And so, yeah, there's that.
Yeah.
Alright, I think we've given Age a grilling. It's time to move further
You can hold
down the list. And next up we have Yoma.
Hey, it's Y. I should be down the bottom.
AOW, my dude.
All right.
My sponsor.
What do you guys think about Yoma, or should I go first?
I'd like to go first here. When it comes to Yoma, I think that he's a player that he sort of works with momentum. When he's like hitting you, right? And he's like when he's got the ball and he's like hitting you, if you like suddenly take the ball off him, like maybe he's doing your mix up and then like you suddenly counter hit him, like maybe a scramble happens, maybe like you block something or something like weird happens and you counter hit him, I think the percent chance of him like mashing Gregor at that instance is approaching 100%. I think
there was that infamous clip of like boot to the head versus Yoma where he would just was like, fuck this, I'm gonna Gregor every time.
Well, that's it. That's the mentality I think Yoma has in the game when it comes to momentum. He loses the ball and he goes, well, fuck you, I'm gonna do a reversal. I think it's like it's not as predictable as like it's not as simple as just when he's waking up he's choosing reversal or not. I think it's a specific case of when he has the ball and it suddenly gets taken off him. That's when he likes to go.
I think the source of that is like you're playing Tekken and you're playing solid Tekken versus your opponent, but then your opponent is starting to beat you in solid Tekken. So you're like, all right, I'll resort to using the fucked up crush moves that delete everything so we can start playing disgusting Tekken. I'm starting to lose hop kick.
Yeah, it's I changed in Tekken from that to some degree, I think.
Yeah, but the ghost of Tekken past remains.
But yeah. It's just like I hate when like I'm doing the thing and then a glitch in the matrix happens and I just go, oh wait, my thing's not working anymore. I get really mad.
And then you super.
I mean, it is a good super.
Yeah, but I think the thing here is that it is predictable that we know that you don't like it when suddenly things aren't going in your favor when they were going in your favor.
Yeah.
And then your immediate reaction is to, well, fuck you. Just do the super.
Alright, so Age made a evaluation. Yoma tends to make action-based reads, action-based decisions, I think. He tends to reversal more toward low team health. He also has very heavy momentum psychology, so he'll play worse after losing. Yeah, that reiterates a bunch of things that Crazy Time is.
Yeah.
In the interest of Yoma's habits that are positive, I think Yoma is a player who is very good at coming back when he's about to die.
Yeah,
something like inside of him like lights up and he goes like absolutely ballistic when he's like about to lose. I think there are certain players who, when they're about to lose, they fold like a house of cards. And there are certain players that when they're about to lose, they become stronger than ever.
I think that's part of the if I'm getting bodied, I don't really I mean, I'm not any better at anchor big band comebacks than anybody else in the true sense. I think what helps me there is that I get a hit and I run with it I run a marathon, whereas other people they get one hit and they can barely run 100 meters or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You take the ball and you go with it.
Yeah,
my personal experience, if I'm about to die, I get scared. I'm like, I have to get ready to bait the reversal that they're definitely gonna do. But you're just like, I
know what's gonna happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just more being I have the hit with big band or whatever. My big band's gonna do heaps of damage. I just want them to do, I have put them in a situation where I recognize the variables in a lot cleaner manner. And now I can just make that read happen, And if I lose, I lose, Then it doesn't look cool. But then if I make it right read, and then I go, oh yeah, I made the right read. That's cool, man. Or whatever.
I think
Jedi, do you have any thoughts on Yoma? Sorry, Sam.
that's all right.
I think.
I mean, it doesn't have to be just eye match reversal at idiot times. It can be like other things as well.
Let me just I've been sort of like half listening. So we're talking about like the habits that Yoma has, or his thinking process.
Yeah, stuff that you like pick up on mid game and reckon specifically for.
Like how you make reads on somebody, I guess, is the best way to put it.
I make reads on Yoma.
Jedi, have you read anything ever in a game of Skull?
You know, man, I just hit the button with the squiggly.
He's illiterate, but he has a nice voice.
Oh dear.
This is
learned.
Come on, Jedi, it's gonna be something.
Yeah,
You're good against
this is
him.
literally, like, we're gonna go in on like Jedi Link earlier than we should, but it seems like because of Jedi Link's lack of like conscious like
I feel like
explanation of what's going on, it's
Well, you
very
said it
much,
before. He's external.
Yeah.
He doesn't care what you're doing. He just does his thing.
I think
Yeah.
like if you can just go into Jedi Link a little bit, like I feel like when I play matches against Jedi, which is kind of how I'm tying this back into me, is that we never really like lose based or win or lose based on player versus player. It's just that we have the strategy, and then somebody's out strategies another guy, you know, or whatever. Like, if that makes any sense. Whereas if I'm playing risky, I go, okay, he guessed that I'm going to do this thing because he knows me a little bit or whatever, you know?
Yeah, I guess I gotta just go back to what I was saying before about like the pre-package reads. That's kind of just how I operate.
Yeah.
I
Like,
do
you
remember
go,
that
okay,
was like
they're going to tech, and they're then, like, I'm going to down throw them with Sheik, and they're going to tech in place. Then if I punish the tech in place, they'll tech roll behind me, and then I'll punish their tech roll behind or whatever, you know?
yeah.
Something like that. Instead of being,
I
okay, I have
just-
conditioned them into thinking this certain way or whatever.
What's
Which
his
I guess,
name,
I mean, tech chasing is to some extent, but optimal tech chasing is.
I guess like even now that I think about it, even in Melee, I sort of do the same thing of like having the pre-packaged reads of like when are they likely to tech in place
Yeah.
based on their position on the stage, you know, those kinds of things. Not
Yeah.
like necessarily previous habits or whatever. Just like I more base it. I try to watch their habits as well, and I sort of factor it in. But like I do base it a bit more on
The technical variables.
just like, is their mentality going to tend towards doing that sort of option? Just like when I think of like the time when I read Yoma, there's this one time I think about when we were playing like this set a long time ago, when it was probably like the first or one of the first times I sort of went positive against him. When like he was just like standing on the ground, and I just ran up and threw him, and he was like, "Oh my god!" Do you remember that, Yoma?
I love that impression.
I mean, it is a pretty
You
good impression.
do that thing. You do it a lot.
What? Oh my god! Or Jedi just run up in the
Oh
corner.
my god.
Jedi run up throws everyone.
Like when
I
I
think-
think about that, I don't really think like I don't know. I obviously it was a while ago, so I don't remember exactly.
It's
but I
his
don't-
reaction to seeing the opponent do nothing in neutral for. That's the
I
melee.
get-
They're doing nothing.
More like his reaction is to sting grave you.
Yeah,
I
like
mean, yeah,
there
that's
was
part
a
of
time
it.
when I was like playing against him, and I think I was playing Cerebell against him, and I know that he's gonna like try run up grab, so then I just wait, and then he's gonna run up, and I just did run up fucking core circle back throw, and it's just like okay unzip, and the next time he just does the exact same thing because he's like oh cool he's just sitting there, that means the unzip is run up throw them, he gets thrown again, all right cool. He's like, all right, fuck him. Number 3, magic number. Let's go. I'm going to adapt this time.
Yeah.
So he runs forward, jumps over my quarter circle back throw, except it wasn't a quarter circle back throw. It was a DP throw. Because I'm like, your number is 3, Jedi Link.
I feel like we didn't really explain the concept of numbers all that much either. Which I mean,
It's
kinda too
an
late for that
adaptation
now,
beats.
but
Yeah, it's not too late.
yeah.
We can cover it a little. Well, we
Well,
can
what
just
else?
cover
do we
it.
need to-
Maybe we should
cover a
finish
little
this.
yeah,
thing
that's why I was
first.
thinking like maybe you should finish the
Yeah,
the
true,
thing
true.
we're
Keep
talking
going
about.
down the list. Just bringing up age says, I think there's another read type we didn't talk about. There's a point where some people just dead body and freeze up.
Yeah, when they go, just I mean that's I'm not sure that's just a read. There's just this like they have tried everything, but none of it has worked. So they just go,
And they're
well, just
fucking
fuck me.
terrified.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
just go, well, fuck me.
That's do you have a conversion off of your mental guard crush?
I guess that's what a throw is, the mental guard crush.
Yeah, I mean you can't block a throw, right?
Yep.
Alright. We've talked about Yoma. Probably maybe more we could say there. Like, I really
But
can't think
that's
of anything
fucking
else.
nice. That's all I'm
Well,
gonna say.
I know that one thing that like I have like pretty good grasp on like Yoma's decision making because it's not very lateral. It's very he looks at the options, he gets a whole bunch of the options and he chooses between them, but he doesn't throw glitches in the matrix. Like,
Yeah.
I get that. Yeah, I agree
Yeah.
with that.
And so the weird thing is that because of that, I can actually start to read when he's figuring out a situation and preemptively beat his never before seen adaptation. Like I've done that against him, like in a round start. Like we were playing a set, and like I forgot what it was.
It's probably Robo versus Bayo because we played a lot of those sets, and those have a lot of that in it.
Oh, I think it was you were doing your Philia. It might have been Robo. I think, like I might have been Robo. I think it was like I was doing something round start every time, and then it was losing every time. So then I read that you would think, fuck this, I'm gonna blow him the fuck up for this. I'm gonna instant air dash heavy kick him. And I was like, he's gonna think of doing exactly that. And then I air through you. And I was like, I'm a fucking god.
I feel like that. I don't remember the context, but I know something like that happened.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So yeah, it's weird. It's weird. It's one of those really digging deep into the matrix to figure out that you're actually working on figuring something out, and that's just it's weird. It's
Yeah,
weird.
no,
What do you think
like,
about that?
yeah.
Crazy Diamond.
I feel like the more the more structured a person's thinking is, the easier it is to blow somebody up for stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird, because you should be structured all the time. Blah, blah, blah.
Age mentions, and I just want to quickly touch on this. There's that thing Risky mentioned a while ago, where people mirror what you do. I think.
It's because people get offended when they get hit by reversal.
Yeah, it's kind of like when I mentioned before about Yoma, having the ball suddenly taken away.
Yeah.
It's like when that happens, you kind of lose your judgment in like a moment of and like you think about it, maybe subconsciously. It's like they just wrecked me with that, so I'm gonna wreck them with that.
Yeah.
See how they like it.
Yeah, and if you like realize that someone can be persuaded in that way by like the sudden removal of the ball, then yeah, it's pretty easy to bait that shit out. I think that against certain players, you definitely want to like after reversaling them, you definitely want to play with caution, especially if it's like the kind of reversal where you don't have like a 40 hit combo and give them time to think, but like maybe like a super that you can't follow up on, and they're waking up and they have meter, it's danger time. You need to block that shit.
Yeah.
I think I only get certain people though. Certain people don't care when their ball's taken off them. It's like, yeah, okay, that's fine. I accept this. Yeah. H says, as a victim of this, I think it is also sometimes just this is a tool that is suddenly on my mind. I'm looking for a spot to try.
Yeah.
Yeah. It like sticks in your mind when it happens to you. It's
That's
like,
part of it as well.
that.
Like when you get hit by a reversal, you're like, reversals exist. I'm just gonna destroy him with that. Whereas,
exactly.
like they're not very pertinent to you. A lot. They're actually like a lot more pertinent to you when you get hit by a reversal. Whereas if you just got hit in neutral, you're not necessarily thinking about it as much. You're like, okay, if you get hit by like if you get hit by a beat extended neutral, you're like, all right, it's a scale starter. I'll just take a mix up. What's the big deal? Whereas if you get a reversal, there's a lot more. What the fuck?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that also brings up an interesting thing of how conditionable is your opponent by just the circumstances.
Yeah.
Like, how much are they going? Like, how much do they have a game plan that they know that they are going to stick to, and how much of what they're going to do is going to be, like, completely dictated by what situation they're put in?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, it's sort of like, not to get like too aether, but it's sort of like being stuck in samsara. You're getting stuck in the fucking world of illusion, in the world of becoming, in the world of what the fuck is in front of you right now, instead of like having an enlightened outside perspective of the situation. So it's like having a perspective outside of the situation you're currently in.
Yeah.
Where you're thinking more about the reads and less about the situation itself.
Yeah, you're thinking about the big picture rather than what's happening right in front of you at this very moment.
And so I think it's like if you don't have the reversal in mind, then being reminded of it is like, oh fuck, I can use this. Oh, I haven't. I've been using this, instead of it already being like ingrained into your psyche and being like, oh, they used that. Of course they used that. I could have used that, but I decided not to.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we should maybe head down and listen. So
yes.
CM. Wow. What do you think about CM?
I think my opinion on CM has changed substantially ever since I started playing him a lot more aware. Like, it used to be that he just destroys me and I have no idea what to do. And now a lot more is just, am I playing right? And am I beating the things? And am I getting a hit? Once I get a hit, I'm Gucci. But if I mess up, I die. It's kind of like Age, actually. Except a lot more reactive.
I think my opinion on CM...
I think even CM mentioned that to himself, where he's like, I'm a player who does the things, and if the things work, then I win. If I, and people aren't good at beating the things.
I sort of evolved into that kind of player with Skullgirls.
Yeah, like, because there was no reason not to do anything else.
Yeah.
I think my opinion of CM will be biased by the fact that we've known each other for so long. And it's like I mentioned before, there's a difference between playing someone like you haven't played against, and then there's playing against your best friend who you know like the back of your hand. So maybe my opinion is a bit clouded here, but personally, I find that when playing against CM, I think his strengths in terms of reading is that he's not he's kind of like the opposite of Yoma, in that Yoma's thinking is very structured, and CM can like deal with the glitch in the matrix. He can understand that it's not as simple as just this or this. That there are other factors like waiting a bit, and I think that he is reactive in dealing with that sort of stuff. I think a disadvantage to this sort of thinking is I think it can be kind of exploited. I think this is where it gets into like, but I know him personally, so it's different territory. I feel like personally I can kind of see when CM is gonna want to 380 my 380 sort of thing. And I think that if you're just a random player, you wouldn't be able to sort of work that out without having known him for a long time. I think
it's still like really interesting stuff to bring up, because I brought up my in-depth thing about like how I can read specific things from Yoma. So I think if you went into like how you can read specific things from me, I'd be like, well, personally, I'd be really interested in that. Bias be damned.
I think I think that when you call out CM for doing a thing, he likes to just do it again. He likes to think like, oh, you're gonna adapt to my adaptation, but I'm just not gonna adapt intentionally just to fuck with you. Like you block his Painless Super and he just does it again.
I mean, that's like it's just being hard to punish.
That's actually the optimal thing if they like don't punish it. I mean, like there's no reason to not do that, right?
Yeah.
Because the only reason why the Painless Super would like doing the second one would be a bad idea is if they're like intentionally baiting it to make you waste meter.
Yeah.
You can true punish it if you are good at it, which I'm not, unfortunately. But like,
hard.
They don't true punish it. So like, but if you can get the second one, it's because they tried to punish it and failed, or because they are trying to make you waste meter, which is really not likely. So I think there's no reason to not do a second one.
It's like if Ken players do Shoryuken into Shoryuken and Super Turbo or whatever. Oh, didn't punish my DP, I'll just do it again. Because it beats.
I'm not above like taking advantage of those. I just did something that's hard to deal with and hard to react to and hard to punish. I'm gonna do it again. Suck shit.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
I think another thing, maybe this is a more recent development, but I think CM has maybe he loses some of reactiveness when he's on defense. I think sometimes CM decides that he's gonna want to do an option in advance of the time where it actually like will happen. Like if he decides that he's gonna want to say match reversal, he's doing it for a while, like just doing it for like a few seconds before the actual moment. And I think that kind of thinking where you decide you want to do something in advance, I think that can be exploited. And I think that may be more of a more recent development in Sam's absence. I think being reactive to the exact moment that you want to do something is better because you can take information even just like 1 second before you want to do the thing and be like, okay, I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Because one thing is that like I'm just so used to playing against people where it's like I can just play normally in like all these other situations, including defense, and just like focus on one situation, like really farther in the future, where it's like I'm gonna 380 them like 30 seconds down the line with this exact thing, and I'm not thinking about anything except that.
Yeah, definitely. And I think if you can work that out about CM, it's easier to deal with, and you can take advantage of that. But I think a lot of newer players don't see that. Like they don't say, "Oh, CM has already committed to 380ing me like 10 seconds ago." They don't see that, so then it just happens anyway.
Well, I think it's also part of it is this everybody just gives him so much respect. Is that you know, they go, he's a good player. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, that's another thing. Sam will do things to you because he thinks that, and not to say that you're full of yourself, Sam, but you know you're strong. You know you're stronger than other players, and that comes out in your play sometimes. You make decisions like, he won't deal with this. You like disrespect other players through your play. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. If you know that they hold you in high esteem, you should totally do that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the things that I actually want to like rub that in as hard as possible so that people get pissed off and beat me for it. But then they don't beat me for it.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's also like the run-up tag from mid-screen or whatever. I'm like, that is the dumbest ops I've ever seen in my life ever. But then, you know, sometimes somebody doesn't punish you for it, and I'm like, well, that's neat. Because I've never actually seen it work. I've never actually ever seen it work.
For some reason, I'm literally like, I'm going to decide to do this. And I actually, like, I've done that so many times against Jedi Link, and it hasn't worked once. I think it's worked, like, maybe once, but it's failed, like...
I feel like it's never...
Run up tag?
Yeah. Run up
I do that on Jedi Link, it doesn't work.
No, like, not
Why
even
the
just
fuck
Jedi
do we
Link.
do that? Why do we think it'll work on Jedi Link?
I don't know, because I think that he thinks about stuff, but he's not. He's
I
just
know!
doing his stuff.
It's exactly the same problem as age.
Well, it's exactly... No, I just feel like that even wouldn't work on me. Like, I wouldn't be... Like, if you're running at me, I'm like, alright, let this idiot just do things to me. And if he throws me, I'll take it. But if you do the tag, it, like, beats nothing that specifically I would want to do or whatever, you know? And I don't know where it works, you know? Like, what options it actually beats.
It works when your opponent thinks that you're gonna do nothing. Isn't so they do
run up tag.
I don't like how you guys are talking about running up tagging and trying to shift it so that it's me being dumb here.
I mean, like, I agree with Jedi on this, actually.
Like,
no, we're not saying that you are dumb for it. Obviously, the tag is the dumb thing.
No, it's like, like, we are making the wrong decision. It's like, we are respecting you as a player too much. Thinking that you'll be hit by the run-up tag, which is a retarded option that only works against people that do the thing that we think is the smart option to reacting to run forward to. It's like Mercy is like...
It's not!
It is.
I think it depends in the situation in which you do it. It's like the Jedi talking about prepackaged reads. Like,
yeah, but if you talk about like...
It's like you think if he's going to want to do stuff, he's thinking I'm not going to do anything.
Yeah,
so
it's
boom.
It's like if you're playing as rear in neutral, obviously, if you know that they're going to like push the button in reaction to you walking forward because you're walking into Fuzzy's range, then the correct path is to walk up DP.
Yeah,
obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
Obviously.
but I just think that.
And then he doesn't press a button in reaction to you walking forward. And it's like, man, why is my opponent such a fucking retard to not get hit by walk up DP at neutral?
I just think that that specific option has like never actually worked ever. So I'm just always confused at when you actually go for it. I'm like,
I think it does work sometimes.
I don't know,
It doesn't work on Jedi. I'm pretty
doesn't
sure
work
I've
on
done
Jedi.
it on you, Yo. I'm pretty sure.
I am sure he's done it on me, and I'm sure it's never worked. we can literally find footage. We're doing it right now. We can literally find footage. I have
think
3
that I've done
hours
it
of
on
me
your
versus
man,
CM for like from the past like several months. I can find footage of it not working. But yeah.
Alright, well, look, okay, I think we've run
Alright.
this topic enough.
It's also a dumb
yeah.
thing to even talk about, but that's what it is.
No, this actually is a really important thing to mention because it's one of those.
Yeah, I think it's quite relevant. It's like you're making a hard read based on what you think the opponent is thinking, and if you if you make the wrong choice, that's on you. You know, if you think that they're thinking this and you're wrong, then that's your problem. And I think an important player skill, if they want to do shit like this, is being able to work out when it is time to do that. I don't think it's like, oh well, this option is it just never works. You should never do it. Sometimes it would work for sure. There are times when it would work.
I don't know, man.
There are times it would work, but the problem is that
I feel like
we
the
just think
things that
because it's an unexpected option that beats a lot of things, that it would just work because we think it.
I mean, fundamentally, it's the same as a walk-up DP, right? And that works sometimes.
I mean, it depends on the context. Like, what does it actually beat? How much you're risking on it, and all that sort of stuff. I don't know.
It beats wait buttons.
Well, I don't know. Anyhow, we've kind of. How far is it actually? It's like 3 hours at this point. Yeah, it's no, 2 hours. Sorry, 2 hours. 2 hours. But yeah, talking about. I guess we can talk about Risky now. I'm not sure.
Oh god.
Yeah.
I haven't talked about CM yet.
You talk about CM. Yeah.
Okay.
As somebody
So,
who made the notes.
CM. I've always sort of held CM on a pedestal, kind of. And when I was playing him, in the past, when I was comboing him, I was always afraid to do a reset because, what if it doesn't work? We're going to go back to neutral, which I'm going to lose. And I kind of get into my own head, against him. And there was this one particular thing that, threw me off that I remember. Was I did one time a reset to him, extend, then jump over, jump light punch, then other side, jump medium kick. And that was I did it the first time I'd ever done it to him, and he'd never seen it before, and he beat extended the first time. And I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, that set. There was a set where I played against you, where you were committing to reset me every single time, except you would actually mix up between do a high-low or burst bait. And so all I needed to do was read when you were going to burst bait, because it was always the same setup for the burst bait. So I decided that I would go, if I think it's going to burst bait, wait until I react to the part in the combo where it's not going to burst bait, or where it is going to burst bait, and then make a decision there. And otherwise, fucking mash medium beat extend, because you're going to reset me every single time, and every single time you're going to do a high or low, and it'll be eaten. So it doesn't matter what reset you do.
That.
It was even if you did the beat extend jump over, it's it does not matter. I did not care about that. All I knew is that you were not going to block. That's it.
Interesting. I forgot that was in the same set. So that's sort of is interesting that you did it not on the basis of oh, I'm going to read this crazy thing that I've never seen before. It's just I'm just going to do something because he's doing something.
Yeah, exactly. It's
anyway.
I was not reading the resets you were specifically doing. I was just reading the fact that you do not ever block as your reset.
Okay, so anyway, what I was going to say is that
Yeah.
Anyway, what I was leading up to was that then when on the lead up to BAM, I was watching all these replays with input display on. and it sort of demystified a lot of things. And I think that's something that people underrate, is that you can just watch replays with inputs against anyone, and you should. Well, I mean, if you want to beat them, that is. And like when it was formerly like imagined it of like, oh, I'm really scared to do a reset, then I like when I watch what CM does, he actually like he has habits of his own. Like he blocks low more often than high, I think. And that's why I thought, I'm just going to do 50 overheads on him. And then I did it, and it like kind of worked.
Yeah, it worked on me. I actually was like, I didn't expect you to keep doing it because I expect you to just, I got hit by the overhead. He's just going to go low next time just cause. Like, I'm used to that.
Oh yeah, I totally understand that, Sam. I get hit by high, and I'm just like, next time it'll be low, because it's just that's the train of thought.
Yeah.
And
so,
you mentioned earlier, like you just should keep doing it. That's
Yeah,
totally.
And so it didn't hit me until like way later in the set, like, but it didn't hit me like enough for me to change what I was doing. I was like, oh, he's actually just going to keep overheading me. Things that I'm actually going to have to change when adapting to Jedi Link. Now I'm going to have to actually block high more often as an actual decision, and then we can play guesses on like high-low blocking, or I'm going to have to start just reversaling more. Either one of those still means that it like deepens the option pool, and I have to actually turn my brain on rather than just block low and then just win whenever he doesn't do an overhead. It's also like I'm actually comfortable with blocking the overheads because I still think that I have I have Jedi's number on the reads on the like tempo of the reads he does. So if I actually just paid attention to like the fact that he's mixing up based on my actual habits now, I'm like, okay, we can move it back to normal defense again.
And I guess the point I was trying to make is like it's kind of a cliched one, but it's like no matter who you think you can't beat, there's like something, like everyone is human, you know. And like even if you think someone has like, oh, they're too powerful, I can't read them, like you can. You just need to change your way of thinking about it.
Yes. Everything's about changing your way of thinking about it. Yeah.
So yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
Okay, well, let us go down the line again, and now it's my turn to be roasted, right?
Yes, now it's your turn.
I don't think it's about getting roasted. It's talking about things. We always wanted to do that, like we discuss how people play or whatever. That's kind of the point of the first setup which didn't work or whatever,
Yeah. Okay, well, hit me up, guys. How do you read me? What are my habits?
Should I go first this time?
Yeah,
Probably have the best opinion.
All right. So my opinion of reading you, most of it's the same. I put you in like a same sort of subset as age, where it's no, not as age, but sort of like age, except an age that knows less about the game mechanics. So all I have to do is like, all right, where's the part where Risky can 380 me? Where's the part where he's not ever going to 380 me because he just doesn't know that this part of the game exists? And if I just go into this part where he doesn't know the game exists, I just win. And that's just a matter of I understand the options, I can play solidly here, whatever. But then when it comes to the 380 situations, like, then it gets far harder to read because then it becomes like, how hard is he going to blow it up? Like, and usually it's a hard blow up. Like, he'll rarely do if he thinks that you're going to up back, he won't crouching light kick you if he thinks you're going to up back. He'll anti-air grab you. Because it's beats the thing you decide to do hardest option. And
in terms of like damage.
No, in terms of like option coverage. Like it's the option
the narrowest option to cover.
Yeah, yes, the narrowest option. It's the option that says, I know you wanted to do this option the most.
Yeah.
Yeah. Two, like Give me a
Wait,
sec.
maybe another dimension of reading is seeing somebody who's defined, give less, more ways. Did we talk about this?
I don't think so.
That was age.
I think we talked about this, but like I don't remember exactly. Getting hit by a run-up tag is only for intelligent people. Can this stop? I've never been hit by a run-up tag in my entire life, and I'll tell you, I have a bit of an IQ. Only a little bit, but I have some.
Oh, I know. In neutral, Risky will often shut down. Like when you have more situation knowledge than him, because I think that's literally just a matter of
Yeah, like not having enough. Like that's I feel like
Yeah.
that's where it's easiest to beat Risky is like, where like in neutral he'll always have like a specific pattern that he does because that's how much he knows the game.
yeah. It's like he lacks depth in neutral, which makes it easy to play neutral against him.
Yeah. It's still kind of
So-
hard because he has jam session assist to help him out, but it's all good.
It does, and there's also like he plays in a sim. Like he does have the 380 decision based read, but a lot of what he does is also like what Jedalink says he does. What Jedalink says Jedalink does, which is he has a bunch of pre-packaged reads, i.e., a bunch of pre-packaged unzips. That's like common situation, common reaction to it. I'm going to do this. You get hit by it.
Yeah.
The classic example being Risky's jumping medium punch to air dash heavy punch, cross up reset with Valentine, because he's like, oh, well, this is the cross up reset here. They're not expecting it. They'll get hit by it, then I can continue. But in reality, it's a mix up situation. And so when it gets blocked, he doesn't expect it to get blocked, and he doesn't have a mix up in that situation. So instead of like in the same reset situation doing an empty low, he'll just do a completely different situation. Like he finds a different place to 380 or unzip you instead of relying on one situation with multiple options. Unless it's like a grappler Oki set.
Yeah, I can agree with that. That's kind of related. Age said before, Risky tends to switch away to a different decision type rather than trying to outread your arguments.
Yes. A different decision place. He tries to find another gap to like put a glitch in the matrix.
I guess,
instead of making sure-
if you were gonna talk about it in that sort of context, I feel like it's really good to mention it. Like, I feel like when I play Risky, he's always trying to poke me with a needle. Like he has a needle and he has my body. I don't know how he has my body, but that's cool. But like he always is trying to poke me, and when I tell him don't poke my eye, he'll go, okay, I'll go poke at your kneecap. He won't try to like subvert the hand that I'm using to block him trying to poke my eye.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I mentioned that. I think I mentioned that metaphor because it's 11:30 at night.
Yeah, no, the metaphor works. It's like another way of saying what I said.
Yeah.
And that's exactly right. It's very much like instead of dealing with the defensive measure they put in, you just decide, like Risky just decides, I'm not going to fuck with that because they've already proven they can deal with that situation. So I'm just going to bring up another situation that they don't know how to deal with. Haha.
Yeah, and I feel like his Valentine has the most amount of situations like that, and his Big Band, I feel like his Big Band is the second most, actually. So I feel like his Bella is actually the worst in that particular situation. I'm not really sure. I feel like it really is, but you know, you guys might disagree with that. I'm not particularly sure. It'd be how it be. I don't know. I don't think it is about they don't know how to deal with it. But there's another message coming in. I was gonna wait about this, huh? God damn it. Because that's more like refined game knowledge style.
Well,
I guess it's more that this didn't work. Let me try something else. But like similar vein.
My mentality when I'm trying to open people up and they like block something I do is I think they saw me do this, they blocked it or it hit or whatever. They're gonna try and think this now. I try to think like, okay, so they blocked my cross up. So next time I'm doing jump medium punch, they'll be thinking about the cross up and like where to go from there. And then I try to do something that I don't think they've considered yet. Like maybe I'll do jumping medium punch, and I'll just like land and then throw or something.
I feel like that's not what everybody else has mentioned. That's kind of weird. Like when people are mentioning that, they're saying that you don't not do jumping. You don't not do the cross up. You just don't do the jumping medium punch.
Yeah, it's like you, instead of doing a different option in the same situation, you just go and rely on a different situation entirely.
Yeah, I guess. Well, what would a different situation be after, say, a blocked cross up?
Like,
I mean, like
you,
I just
instead of going in with jump medium punch, next time you go in after calling Cerebella, for instance.
Oh yeah.
Like you don't. Cause I think overall that's a good thing to do, is just to put as many situations on the plate as possible, so that the people have to think about it. But then it doesn't really matter if you don't really mix up what you're doing in that particular situation, you know?
Yeah. So it's weird. It's like with Risky, it's very much.
It's like almost really, really good thinking, but it just fails because
it doesn't have the solidness to back it up.
Yeah.
It's a same kind of. It's similar to Jedi Link, where Jedi Link covers a lot of options solidly, or a lot of situations solidly, but
in very similar ways, or like very similar to that style.
Yeah, it's a similar sort of breadth and coverage of options, except Jedi Link's ones are way more solid options, and Crazy Diamond's ones are way more 380 options. They're just more like, if they have this predictable habit here, I'm gonna blow them up for it.
I think one weakness of the way I approach it. The strength is that if you make decisions based on what's happening in the game, I predict you. Yeah. And I think the weakness is that my options.
Oh my god, I can see the flash.
I think my options are quite limited. I don't have like enough layers to my mix-up. I have like different mix-ups and I like vary it. But like once you know them all, I'm not scary anymore. And then you're like, and then I have to like make new shit, and I'm like, what do? I can't open them up anymore. I think one thing I need to start doing is like turn the mix-ups I have into like new layers of mix-ups.
Yeah, it's like what I said on like Steam that one time, where like you would really benefit from having one setup that goes into multiple different mix-up options, mixing up between them.
Yeah, totally.
I feel like he has it a little bit with his Valentine, but maybe, like again, not so much with Bella and Big Band, and that's kind of where I like say that the characters are quote unquote incomplete, and that's why if I would want to distribute the 2/3, I'd be like 3/5 of the 2/3 is Bella and 2/5 is Big Band, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. I feel like
because your Big Band has a lot more 380 potential than Bella, especially in neutral. But your Bella has a lot more potential in 380ing on
my Bella
on hit.
My Bella actually does something when she hits.
Big Band, that as well. That's part of it. Your Big Band
I get one hit as Big Band and that's it. That's the combo is over.
Yeah.
But that's just on me to learn.
Yeah.
And lab and practice. I do need more neutral. I'm very flowcharty with Bella right now. I just jump in, I do jumping medium punch. That's it.
Or like you'd always jump back forward, jump back, jump forward, jumping heavy kick or whatever.
Or like double dash in and then crouching light kick. Really flowcharty.
I don't know. You just gotta play more grapplery instead of letting people just run into you or whatever. Which I mean, it's gonna work with people, so it is what it is.
Age asks, I don't know if Risky actually has 380 on defense. Is that just me being silly? Personally, I think I'm pretty good at 380 on defense. But what do you guys think?
I'm good at 380 on defense. Are you just trying to say I do reversal Excella sometimes?
No. I like to think that, I would like to think that I can, take a defensive option and, when I'm blocking, not just block and deal with it, but, start hitting the opponent. And I'm sure you will disagree, Jedi, but up forwarding your slow as fuck 6 HP and then hitting you is an example of a 380 on defense.
If that's something you came up with yourself, then yeah, but it doesn't. I'll be sad to say my 380-year fellow dude. I don't know.
I think
Great that like that's not a real thing, and it's just because I'm not timing it right.
I mean that's not pertinent to why it happens to you. I'm not even trying to meme. Like that's it doesn't literally doesn't matter.
I mean, like, I feel like if I recognize that I can do it, I should do it. I don't think that it's like, but if you were better, you wouldn't be doing it. You wouldn't be letting me do it. I don't think that's relevant.
Yeah,
If you're letting me do it, I should do it.
I know what it is. All right, so I feel that when someone has a setup and it's I'm gonna do this thing and it works every time setup, you blow people the fuck up for that. Risky. Like, you'll read it, you'll blow it up, they can't do it anymore. GG. But if it's a solid setup where people can mix up between a lot of different options, you crumble them. Like, I know that in Guilty Gear, like, if I'm close to you and I'm actually doing like the Johnny mix-ups that are just the proper solid, do these safe things over and over, Johnny mix-up, then I can just reliably do that as long as I don't fuck up the input and get pot busted.
Yeah. I'd say the same thing. Like, when I actually hit you with Philia, I just don't feel like you're 380 me at all. Especially if I do it right, which, you know, it's not pertinent, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, especially like the corner mix-up that I did with the setting heavy kick a long time ago, which I don't know why I don't do anymore. Like, once I actually hit you with that, like, you're not coming back from that. You're kind of just like, well, he hit me with 5 different overheads in whichever way. I'm just, you know, it is what it is. And, you know, which, like, is just more about being more aware of different situations and all that sort of stuff. So, I don't know. Which is why I feel like I will not beat you with Robo, but I will definitely can beat you with Philia. Like, the combination of all that stuff that we've just talked about.
I think, yeah, I agree with that. I think, I don't know, another thing I'd like to think I can do, which I'm sure maybe you guys won't be like, no. But I'd like to think I'm generally okay at, like, feeling when it's time to reversal and when the opponent might be expecting it. And also vice versa when I'm on the attack. I think I'm okay at, like, feeling, he's gonna probably try and stick me now.
You're probably the best reversal baiter that actively plays in Renbats.
Right. But yeah, I think, definitely if I'm just eating solid mix-up, I crumble to that because I start, like, getting flustered and, like, mashing and, you know, all sorts of shit like that.
Yeah. Or, like, you don't understand how the mix-up works or whatever, like, stuff like that, etc. But, I mean, whatever.
I think, personally, the person I have the most trouble with, like, reading is Jedi.
Because he doesn't do it.
Yeah. But even, like, stuff like 360, yeah, he sees it coming. You know.
Oh, Aid said,
like, wow,
I disagree. I think that's RPS. I'm not sure.
He was talking about like jump forward, the jump forward squiggly thing.
Oh yeah,
I'm back. Sorry about that.
Okay. The up forward thing. Okay. I don't know, man. I think the up forward thing is kind of, it is what it is. You just whatever. Sometimes he does a dumb reversal that makes it like a set.
I'm back. I have a thing to say. What was I last saying?
You were not saying much things. You kind of just dropped out by being quiet.
Okay, cool. Good. That means I can actually put in my opinion on, because I think Age is right when he says he doesn't actually have 380 on defense. Because I'm going to cite our Guilty Gear games here. Whenever I actually stick to like the solid situation, like there's a lot of different options to consider here, and I can mix up between a lot of them, then Risky just kind of dies.
Yeah.
But if I'm doing Johnny's like level 3, like 6H, instant air dash, jump heavy, miss cancel, jump PK type of pressure string to reset or like catch him out or try to get the double overhead.
That's when you get backdash or heavenly to my bro.
Yeah, exactly. Like you'll see the 6H and you're like, he's going to instant air dash here. And then you heavenly me. And I'm like,
Yeah.
It's like when he's familiar with the, what do you call it, the variables, he like knows how to 380 it, but if he doesn't know the variables, he can't 380 it.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's a good way.
So it's like whenever you have a like little gimmick set up that it's like, they're not expecting this, Crazy Diamond's expecting it.
Yeah, I can like see through shit like that and adapt to it really quick. But when it comes to just like solid, safe stuff, you like chip away at me and I crumble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really need peace. I'm gonna do everything.
I do think that Risky is one of the best people over here at baiting supers, though.
Yes. Precisely because it's like he can read the situation where you want to super.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he has the breadth of situation awareness.
Yeah. And also just correlating a lot of the things together as well. It's really important.
Mm. Yes. So I think we covered everyone in the chat.
Except for
Like-
Jedi. We didn't actually cover Jedi.
We already went into him earlier. Because every single time like it came to Jedi Link giving his opinion on someone, it sort of like made it obvious like
What his
what
actual
our
stance
opinion.
was.
Yeah. Like yeah.
That's fair. But I don't
Could
feel
do it
like
again.
closing it when Risky's not here, so I just,
That's true. Like when Risky comes out we can like have a proper like going on Jedi.
sure.
Yeah.
I'm just watching the match real quick, and Mao won a Ranbats. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, man.
I guess not necessarily funny, but it was under dubious conditions and all that.
Mao can take a Ranbats.
Yeah. He's playing like double point pretty much the whole time, which was good. He should do that.
Did you guys want to talk about Matt as well? Like,
Yeah, we can do
Even
that.
though he's
I
not
mean, he's
here?
not here, so I feel uncomfortable doing that, but sure.
Mao.
Yeah.
Good.
Mao, I feel like is similar to age. Where like, but I feel like Mao has better like reads in neutral, which is weird because a lot of other people don't really have the exact degree of like reads in neutral. But I feel like he's one of the best people at it, or one of the better ones anyway. I'm not sure.
my thoughts on Mao is that, and I don't know if this is going to come off as kind of mean, but I feel like he just sort of, he does his stuff, he has nothing. Like specifically, I guess, like, it's not just for his Peacock, it's like all of his characters. That I feel like if I can get on him, he just crumbles.
I mean, yeah, that's part of it.
I'm back.
He's like
Oh,
one of the
Oh, we're talking
easiest.
about now.
If we were talking about people that are good, that are good at 380ing people on defense, Mao is definitely not in the running.
Yeah, he doesn't. It seems like he doesn't think about your decisions on offense when he is on defense. He just It's like what I do in regards to I have this pre-committed option to do later, except all of his game plan is like that. All of his game plan is I'm going to pre-commit to do this next time. I'm going to pre-commit to do this next time, but it doesn't have. He's not paying attention to what's happening decision-wise.
Yeah, it's like kind of like Jedi as well,
Figured it
except
as
like
well.
not as many good pre-committed reads or whatever.
Yeah. It's actually interesting how we're like identifying players in relation to each other and how they like certain players,
Yeah,
except on different dimensions. Like the
think,
likeness between Jedi Link and Crazy is the most esoteric and like lateral one, but it's one that we've still identified.
yeah.
There's something when I was analyzing one of Mao's games that I had with him, is I realized that like I felt like in neutral he wasn't really adapting to what I was doing at all. Like he was still doing the same stuff even though it wasn't working. I don't know if that's just like he feels like I feel like he kind of does have a bit of a mental block against me that like, oh, Squiggly's broken, I can't be this stupid character.
No, that's not. It's not against you. It's just like that's just how he plays. He just plays. He has a set things he wants to do, and then he does. And occasionally he does something else when it's proven.
He
that
doesn't like
can't
do it mid-set. He'll like think about it like at uni or whatever, and then he'll do it. Like he's not one to come up with options on the fly. And I'm sort of the same way actually as well.
Hard to adapt like between matches, even or like
Yeah.
when he.
I think Mao is like in terms of like game knowledge, he's like steps ahead of me. But I feel like once I get in his head, it's over.
Yeah. Like
Yeah, I just
I'd say
never
like
leave
you're
that.
one of the it's very easy to reverse comeback on him. Or like no,
Yeah.
I guess not reverse
Yeah.
comeback, but like he's one of the easiest people to make a comeback on.
Yeah, definitely. All right.
I want to say
so now-
though, like, oh, sorry, you continue, Sam.
Now, what I was actually going to try and shift the topic, so you say something, Jedi Link.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that like we've kind of been like bagging on Mal a bit. I did want to say just to say something nice about him. I was impressed when he was playing Rambats with me. When I was playing with Rambats and he was playing double point, and he did like he was doing like his mix up, you know, the left right, and he did same side, and they did same side again. I was like, oh shit, and like oh fuck, I'm dead. So I was like. That was like sort of a moment where that was a side of Mao I hadn't seen. Is that like he sort of unzipped me?
Yeah,
and
I feel like that's why his double is actually his best character.
Yeah. As far as decision making goes, his double is his best character.
Yeah. There's this, technical know-how. Peacock is still light years ahead. Oh my god, this mesh. I'm just watching Rescue as Mao, and I can see where the churning of the butter happens.
Yes.
This
Very
is
good.
really fun.
Wait, what's this?
Like when there's a certain point where you just hit when you can just hear the mesh. Even though like I don't
Yeah.
have any game sound. Just because I can see the input and you're just churning the butter or whatever. It's really funny.
Excellent. All right, so we haven't officially gone in on Jedi Link, so we should do that now. Who wants to start?
I find Jedi Link really hard to read.
Yeah.
I think it's literally because,
mystery, dude.
like, if we actually like overlay like player type versus player type, it is because you haven't focused on deconstructing Jedi Link situations. Because you crumble whenever people hit you with a solid situation, but all Jedi Link is solid situations. And so that's why I lost as well, like to Jedi Link, like, and why, like, even after the tournament set, we had 30 game set, and I won 30, but he won 28, and I was like, he has solid. And so learning to beat Jedi Link has nothing to do with outreading him, because like he just has the options covered. You have to actually learn the situation to an equal degree or better than Jedi Link. And if you learn it to an equal degree, then you can out decision him.
Yeah. Like you can't beat it. Like I always thought that was Squiggly's problem, where you can't 380 Squiggly. You have to strategically beat the idiot character, but like that's part of Jedi's play style as well. Where you can't just like, I'm going to do this because you're going to do that. Like he's going to do this. He like plays like eight. I feel like kind of like whatever, calling him H-box or whatever, but like how Puff players, like, they are going to do the back air. I know they're going to do the back air, but I can't punish it because it's a safe move, and I have to specifically call out a very specific situation or whatever. So it's kind of like that playing against them.
Very much so.
Like you have to beat him, you have to defeat him strategically, and like almost nothing about Reed's plays in that outside of baiting the reversal or whatever.
Yeah, it's like once you actually have the strategy like known, then it's easier to beat Jedi Link on decision reads because he's not too great at decision reads, but he just has all the other like
he's got a really solid game plan. You just got to beat the game plan.
Yeah.
Like that's how it was easier to beat you with Brass than it was with BXN, because I can functionally disfigure your game plan of I'm gonna hide behind BXN and charge up because I can just punch you, or I can just call the punch or whatever. And stuff like that.
That definitely did take me a bit of time to sort of get used to.
Yeah, but then you didn't really adapt to it in a me versus you way. You kind of just adapted in a strategic way where you hide behind it even further, and if I try to get close, Brass only hits the one character, doesn't hit the other character, which is what you want. But yeah. So yeah, I don't know what else to say.
I feel like Age is hopping off. Okay, I guess this is we're supposed to spiral towards wrapping up now.
Yeah. I was looking so.
It has been ages.
Just one thing that, like, I don't know if this is going to go into a sort of a tangent that is, like, might take too long, but I was just thinking that you guys or Yomo was saying, like, Jedi Link's, like, too strategically solid because it's safe and you can't, like, just outread it. but I have a small amount of experience playing against people who are significantly better than me, like obviously in America or whatnot. Not like that much, but just a few times of just a quick match. It makes me wonder, like, oh, I supposedly, according to this guy, have like all this really solid like strategy and stuff, but I play against these other guys who they've never played me before, they've never seen my strategy before, but they still blow me up. So it makes me wonder, like, what is the gap? But it's like something that I guess we can't really discuss because you guys have not even like seen
no,
those sets.
I already know what it is. They just have a better strategy than you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they have
Like-
done things that you haven't seen before, and then you go, "Oh, what do I do?"
Yeah.
Before?
It's like I was talking to someone the other day about the gap between lower level players and higher level players, and it's literally flowcharts all the way up strategy wise.
Yeah.
Like when you're a fucking idiot and you're playing fighting games, you don't know what blocking is, and so you can just unzip them. Like you just get unzipped by sweep, 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 and that solves you. You're done. Except when you learn how to block, now suddenly you have to think about one more option. And now the situation has actual like variance now. But then you start, okay, what I'm going to do versus his block now that I'm sleeping. Am I going to walk forward and grab him? Oh, is he going to like hit me out of the grab? Oh no, I have to think and blah, 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 blah. It just keeps going like that. And then once you transcend those options, then you come to a level option where the mix-up itself is the option. And you're thinking about, instead of in the mix-up, am I going to do a high? Am I going to do a low? Am I going to read him here? Now that's just another like sub-chunk of your whole strategy. And now you're like picking and choosing between situations. It's like, at this level, like, this is the sort of in-the-moment level where making the decision-based reads, that's where I shine the most. But then if you took that and you took Crazy Diamond's ability to think laterally across a whole lot of different situations and you apply that same sort of thing, suddenly you're operating on a far higher level, and now you're mixing up between mix-ups and like you're mixing up between what situations you put people in, and because you're aware of more situations, you literally have like your opponent's entire game plan is now just one little chunk of your game plan. That's it. And so whenever you lose to someone in Melee, majority of the time, that's what happens. Your entire game plan is a subsection of their game plan.
I'd just like to say, I think Jedi is his ability to adapt immediately in game to stuff that is new isn't that good. I think that he like leaves the set and then he goes and like labs the shit out of it, and then he comes back way more ready to like deal with the stuff. But in the moment, if you do something that's new, he'll just be like,
Yeah.
"What the fuck? Why'd I get hit? That's cheap."
Yeah,
And
he doesn't have a
really adapt.
Yeah, he doesn't have a fast game plan rewrite. He has he's very good at analysis. He's very bad at in the moment rewriting.
Yeah, so I think that like when he plays other people that he's never played before, I can see that like even if their strategy wasn't as solid, they still might beat Jedi just because he's not used to it and doesn't know what to do. I mean, I watched a couple of the games that you showed against the American player Jedi, and it did seem like he would do stuff that you just weren't expecting at all, and then your like adaptation was poor.
Yeah.
If you agree, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I do. I did lab some of those like situations that I've never seen before afterwards, and I think I did a bit better next time I played them.
Yeah. That's,
Oh wait, so you're
exactly
playing
it.
against
You
an
leave, you enter
international.
the hyperbolic time lab, and
Yeah.
now you're ready.
So when you said you played an American, you said you played an American Skullgirls player, and not a Melee player.
There's just this guy I met on Quick Match one time, and like he friend requested me, and he asked to play sometimes.
Oh yeah, in which
Yeah.
case, if you lose to someone in Skullgirls with a team you never played against, it's exactly what Crazy Diamond said.
Yeah.
Literally, just you don't know the situation, rip you.
Also, I think I didn't mention this in the roasting period before, but I think that against Jedi Link, um, when you do hit him with something unexpected, like I think Jedi Link in particular is very susceptible to the glitch in the Matrix.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
When that happens, he's just like, "What the fuck?" And then it like,
Oh, okay.
definitely much more conditionable after that. I think.
Yeah. Yeah, because he's expecting to like, all right, they're just going to do that every time, so I'm going to do this to be their thing every time. Not expecting the glitch to be like a rare thing.
Yeah, the random.
And then he's like mind gaming himself because he's adapted to something that's not an adaptation.
You can always tell when you've glitched Jedi because he says, "Why'd I get hit by that?"
Oh yeah. I mean, you
It's
can
just
tell.
like
Yeah.
a second, like half a second to a second, like just off beat, and he's like not ready for it at all, and he's like, "Oh, that's it. Why'd I get hit by that?" Because it was slightly unexpected. Even just like half a second later, can like be enough to throw Jedi off his game plan. I think.
Yeah.
I think actually when we were talking about before about time and like waiting, I'm actually pretty excited to like put this into practice against Jedi. I think that's something I haven't really done against Jedi. We'll see how we
What
go.
you said about me like pre-committing to something like ages ago and really deciding to do it later, that's something that I like knew but ignored. And so I've actually been working on that recently, like, because like it's sort of after BAM, my love for fighting games has reignited, and I've been thinking more about like just acting in the moment instead of like dealing with like what am I gonna what am I gonna ruminate over and prove them wrong about in this situation.
Being more reactive rather than like
more reactive,
pre-committal, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we can all take something away from this discussion that will.
Well, I'm taking away from the discussion is Falco sucks. Tell your friend. I'm just watching my match and I'm saying how bad I am.
Nice. One actual, like, really, potentially, like, it's on topic, but it's so out of Aether field that it's weird. But,
I dropped it.
Yeah, like, one thing that I've been doing is actually, like, so historically, the seat of consciousness in human beings has always been held to be the heart. And you can always, and that's just sort of been, like, in every single tradition, this is true. To the point where in Japanese, like the word for thinking and feeling are the same one, and they use like the sub-radical for the kanji heart in the word. Every single thing has fucking done that. And so one of the things you can actually do is, or like one of the problems that people have is that they actually put the seat of their consciousness in their brain, which is turns out not to be right, even though we think that, the brain is where the things happen, therefore your consciousness is in the brain. But no, your heart is actually the very first point of where you think. And so if your thinking is way too much in your head and not in your heart, it actually slows you down and you literally overthink things and you aren't playing by heart.
Yeah. Have you ever done the thing where you get like a feeling and you're like, I shouldn't just do the feeling? And then you get wrecked for like doubting yourself, and you're like, "Why didn't I just do the feeling?"
I've been getting that much more often recently, which is a step up, because before I'd just be like, "No, I pre-committed to this thing," and I wasn't thinking of the feel, and I wasn't open to the feelings. But now I'm more open to those feelings, and I'm like, "Fuck, I should have done that." And that's because, like, literally, your heart is the first point of action. It's the intuition thing. Like, your intuition should be the first point of call, and your thoughts are there to supplement and help your intuition be better and understand more things. But if your thoughts are like cucking you out of intuition, then that's no good. And a lot of that is literally like, I actually found it helpful to just visualize the center of my consciousness being in my heart instead of in my brain, and just been working on that for the past few weeks, and it actually helped a lot. It's actually crazy. It sounds weird, but it worked for me. So if you want to try it out, try it out.
I'm about to say, guys, I'm getting pretty tired. Maybe we should wrap it up.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of discussion.
Wrapping it up. Yeah. It's
All right. So shout outs to H for showing up, I guess. Shout outs to you guys for showing up. Actually doing this. That's neat. Shout outs
It
to
was
me
great.
mashing Gregor like an idiot. That's cool.
It was a great topic.
Mashing Gregor
Very
like an
deep
idiot.
topic.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the topic in of itself. Yeah, thanks to Busy for suggesting the topic. Got like 8
Yeah,
points
good,
or whatever.
good topic. I liked it.
Yeah. Shout outs to Squiggly for autocorrect DP. What a piece of shit idiot character. That's cool. I don't
Okay,
know.
so I forget Squiggly has a DP for the
Squiggly,
millionth time.
you can the DP autocorrects during the charge. Don't give me this shit about the DP being bad. The DP is great. It's also slow, so you can't parry OS it, which is garbage.
I don't think I've like ever blocked it intentionally once.
I've
Sometimes
blocked
I
it.
block it, but it was just because I was like happening to be holding back, doing an input or something.
Yeah.
And
Or
then
like,
it's like, oh, you got me, and in my head I'm like, yeah.
and
got
then
it.
there's actually no like landing lag on the DP, or like there's very little if there is any. And so when you like, whenever I block it, I'm like, oh, I actually blocked it, so I should have punished them, and then I don't punish it, so I'm like, that's cool. But yeah, shoutouts to this cool game, and shoutouts to all you guys for showing up. I don't know if I'll have a podcast next week. It depends on if I can probably do that next week actually. So I'll delete this point that we had, like this reads one, and then I'll get the next highest voted point, and then we'll talk about that for 2 hours or whatever.
Yeah.
Hopefully same time, unless something screws up royally.
Like same time as in same time, same weekday? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this
But-
actually seems pretty alright.
Yeah. Jeez, it's like 12 already. So I'll stop the recording. I'll pull this up online right now, and in the meantime, I'll probably go take a piss or whatever. And I'll see everybody later. And you know, if anybody has any last words, just drop them right now.
Get
I'm
good.
gonna beat you next week, Jedi.
You're gonna have to beat me next week, my dude, as well.
No, Jedi's
did I-
gonna have to beat your connection. That's what's gonna have to happen.
It was
I didn't
garbage.
even get to play Jedi.
You know, get right. It was all NZ last week. That was pretty cool. All NZ grand finals. Sweet tape. But yeah, anybody has any last words, just drop them. Otherwise, I'll stop the recording.
Just about Squiggly's DP, I actually learned recently that if you do the charge DP and on the third hit cancel it to SBO, it's -5. Like, it's actually different if depending on like if you do it on the last hit, it's not as minus, because like I knew it was -7 if you do it on the second hit, so that's like, oh, that's punishable. But if you do it on the last hit, it's -5. So it's actually Squiggly has a safe reversal.
Who would have thunk, Mister? The DP is -7. It's punishable. Nobody punishes the peacock fucking -9 punch move though. That's cool. But yeah. See you guys later.
Bye bye.
Bye.